What's up, guys? Welcome to Frank's Media and Reviews live stream, y'all. This is going to be a pretty fun live stream. It's going to be a topic, a video that is very special to me, like others here in the panel, and that is discussing Italian horror. I'll get to know why is it so special to them, the influence that Italian horror films have within the horror genre. And just kind of just dive into like everything that is Italian horror, guys. So before we kind of start the road, because guys, I don't know who the hell knows how long this video is going to take. Everyone here in the panel, their links are down in the description section. So as always, Ryan, thank you, my man, so much. So follow everyone here in the panel. And yeah, guys, we are just here to have fun, talk horror. You all know how it is. So the first guest, y'all, is going to be my man, Chris, from Bearded Film Guy. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you? Thanks for having me a part of this panel.
Yeah, I have escaped the kids and I'm doing good.
I do this great thing where I just don't have kids.
Yeah. That's good, man. I highly that's good for finances too. Next is my buddy GC. What's going on?
Yo, what's up, guys? What's up, Frank? Thank you for having me, buddy.
Of course, man. Look at Freddy. Look at Jason's mask, man. I just watched Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell. So I love the little light up lamp right behind you.
Oh, you're talking about the bubblegum lamp over here?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, man. So I repurposed this old bubblegum machine and I turned it into a lamp. So yeah, I love that thing, man.
Oh, no. There's one right to your other side. There's a Jason mask.
Oh, this guy, yeah. So guys, I'm gonna say so if you go to anywhere, to any stores, usually it's like $30-$40. Go to like TJ Maxx or Marshalls or something, you'll probably get it for like 15. Phenomenal mask. I love this thing. It's battery powered or mini USB. Awesome mask.
It's actually his background is actually a randomly generated green screen.
It's AI. That's what it is. All this is AI, guys.
Oh, that's so funny. Hell yeah. Well, it is 2025 now. Next is apparently it's Franco Nero. What's going on, Franco?
Buongiorno.
Oh, mamma mia. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, man. Doing good. Super happy to be here. I'd be happier if our sound wouldn't match our lips, so it seemed like we're badly dubbed. You know, I think that would really get us in the moment. It'd be like, and now we're going to talk about Suspiria, but our mouth is completely different. That'd be fantastic. But as is, I'm pretty good. Thank you for having me.
Nice. Also, Franco Nero is the man from Django and other wonderful films. So
absolutely, he is.
Thought y'all know. Next is the man who just surpassed 1,000 subscribers. Boop, boop, boop. It is Jordan. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? What's happening? Thank you for asking me to be a part of this.
Yeah,
I'm honored.
No problem. Hell yeah. And he changed the damn lights. Here we go.
I had to. I was stressing out. I had 1 second left, and I got it up.
Oh, there you go. Well, here is looks like the Midwafflers from hell, and that is Ken. What's going on?
We're in hell now. What's up, everybody?
Man,
I ate some spaghetti and meatballs tonight, so I'm ready
Nice.
to talk some Italian horror.
Yeah.
With Franco Nero.
Honored to be with you again, Ken, as always.
And,
Awesome to be with you too, buddy.
And next,
I do love Django. I need to check that out again.
Django, yeah.
You know what's maybe an even better Franco Nero spaghetti western is Kioma. It's so good, but it's also so funny because there's this theme song where they just yell Kioma and it plays through half the movie.
I love that. They do that
awesome.
in Navajo Joe too, and that movie was freaking awesome.
I love
that movie
Joe.
so much.
It is one of the most fucked up violent westerns I've ever seen, and I love it.
Burt Reynolds plays an Indian.
Yeah.
What?
He's great. He's great in it though. He's so freaking
Got my
good.
attention on that one.
Dude, that movie blew my mind. The score. Oh my god, it's so good.
Next is a very man. This guy is swear to God, his middle name is Italian Lord. It is Steven. Steven, what's going on, bud?
What's going on? How's it going, guys?
Doing pretty good.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Of course. It looks like I forgot, man. Happened to me, guys. Josh, I forgot to send Josh the damn link. So
Dang.
Wow.
Glad to be a
Poor
part of
guy.
it.
this is actually excluding him. So Josh, man, I don't know, man.
Take the hint.
Take the hint. Oh man. Well, once he's here, of course, I'll introduce him and everything. But yeah, first of all, thank you guys for taking your time out of your busy schedule and talking about a genre, a little that we really love and are very passionate about. And speaking of passion, here he is, Josh.
Dude, what an intro.
What's going on?
That was a great intro.
Yeah,
What's
of
up,
course.
everybody? Good to be here.
Oh man, what movie is that right behind you?
That's Joe D'Amato's Beyond the Darkness,
Oh, man.
Ooh.
a nasty
Nice.
Italian horror flick.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
I was working on stuff before, so it's just kind of
Yeah,
still up
there you go. So before, like I said, I kind of will dive into everything about Italian horror. I just want to go really quick of the comments. And again, guys, comment away. I know this is going to be a pretty busy live stream, so I'll try to respond to people's questions and all that type of stuff. But as always, like I said, there is Ryan posted the links to everybody. So again, thank you, Ryan. Cameron, what's going on? You said you'd be showing up, so awesome. Thank you for showing up. William Driver, what's going on? Kevin Kruger, he said, "What's up, Ken?" He said, "Fuck you guys." What's up, Ken?
What's up, Kevin? How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, 4K Messiah. Oh, what's going on, man? Hopefully you're having a good night.
The gang's all here.
Yeah, no kidding. There we go. Y'all have a favorite Friday the 13th? Mine is Jason Lives and New Blood. Mine's chapter 2.
Final chapter.
Same.
Final chapter.
Yeah, final chapter.
2.
Oh, mine's part,
Part
three.
2.
Yeah.
Part 3.
Part 3?
Part three.
All day.
Yep.
Whoa.
Chris, what you got over there? You're cheesing.
No, I said final chapter.
Oh, my bad.
I was
It all
amazed
takes Manhattan.
at how many.
Hey,
That's hilarious.
Takes Manhattan's in my top 3. So
I love Takes Manhattan.
He likes that uppercut.
Goes to hell.
Jason Goes to Hell is my number 2.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
goes to
So
hell. is
what?
my
What?
number two.
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah, there you go. And Adrian James, what's going on? And let's see. Oh, Night 90, what's going on? I think that's everyone that's kind of new. Again, guys, it's going to be a busy night. So what I want to talk about with y'all is, first of all, how did you guys get into Italian horror? I'm going to start with Chris, and then we're going to just go into zigzag. So Chris, GC, Franco, Jordan, Ken. So we'll go all that way. So Chris, go ahead.
I don't really remember how. I think I was reading a book and it brought up Argento. And that was, I mean, Argento was kind of, I feel like, a segue for most people into the genre. But what was actually funny about it is I used to not like Argento. Now I love him. So beginning of my Italian horror, I couldn't stand him. I was like, oh, these movies suck. And I got into like Joe D'Amato and the more excessive stuff. And then when I grew up, I say that was a phase in my life when I grew up and I realized how much impact Argento had on the genre. I started exploring a little bit deeper, reading a little bit more, getting into a little bit more like deeper cut stuff. Like, I mean, I was watching bad VHS transfers that were on random sketchy websites that like probably gave my old computers a virus just to watch some like shitty 70s Giallo that I don't even remember what it's called. And then of course led into Fulci, and now it's kind of become my favorite genre just through a mess of circumstance.
Hell yeah. GC.
Frank, first of all, once again, thank you for having me, buddy. So I just want to start off by saying that my journey just started I would say a few months ago, it's a few weeks ago. I'm probably the least experienced one, or for sure the least experienced one when it comes to Italian horror among you horror gods. But I want to say that the people that I have to blame for getting me into Italian horror are all in this live stream. I want to start off with Chris, Steven, Jordan, you, Frank. Thank you guys, because now you're putting me in financial ruins.
Anytime, man.
But with that being said, yeah, I mean, I'm still learning. I figured too. I was like, you know what? I'm half Italian, so I got to get in this, man. I could understand a little bit. Finally, it'll be a genre that I could actually understand a little better. But yeah, my experience very limited. As far as for getting into it too, I'm really excited about. Naively, through most of my life, I for some reason thought it was movies just made in the United States. So discovering genres outside the United States and seeing these new revelations of art and these masterpieces is just mind-blowing. So it's just been an exciting last few months.
Nice. Heck yeah. I always love hearing people's journey on whatever the hell we're talking about, man, because everyone's journey is different. So Daniel, what about you?
Yeah, so it's maybe like 10-ish years ago, something like that. I was listening to this podcast. It was called F This Movie. I think it's still going on. And the host on there, Patrick, had this like tumultuous relationship with Italian horror where like he hated it and would talk about how he hated it and then like just kept watching it and then like developed this obsession with it. So I was like, and that was like the first place I heard about these movies. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this stuff out for myself. And the first movie I watched was Suspiria. And I just loved it. So I never had the I need to get used to it period per se. And then I just kept watching Italian horror movies, and a lot of them I love, some of them I don't, but it's very much both Italian horror and Giallo together. Big interest of mine. I just think these movies are so much fun.
Jordan.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I'm newer to this whole genre. My first one I watched was opera, and I hated it at first, and then so I did, and so I think it was Chris was telling me like, hey, they've got these Michele Soavi films on Severin, check them out. And so I was like, okay, which ones? And he told me, and I first watched what was it? I think it was Cemetery Man, or was it Cemetery? I don't remember, but any one of them. And I said, dude, this is stupid. I said, their mouths doesn't even match. What's going on? Because at first I was like, well, I'm going to switch it to the Italian audio. That's probably the issue. And it was still having the same issue. And I was getting irritated. And so I was
There's
like,
no pure version.
Well, right. And so I texted him like, what is going on? Do I have a bad disc? And he's like, it's a thing. Italians, they film everything, then they dub everything later. I was like, oh, okay. So then the next one I watched was The Church. Or not, was it The Church? Yeah, The Church. Yeah, The Church. And I was hooked after that, fell in love with it because of that movie. So
The Church? Really?
Church. Wow. That's one that hooked me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Frank's like, The Church? Movie. That's a piece of shit.
I respect. Oh, really? I thought I was going to be the only church lover on here. So, Jordan, I appreciate it.
You got
Church.
The Church is just phenomenal. We can talk about this later, but I would take that over like Cemetery Man. Personally,
I might buy a hair as well.
Yeah.
Super close.
Just edges out for me.
It's damn good. It's damn good.
Okay. All right. Hot take. Ken, what about you?
For me, I think it was around 2016, 2017, and I was just getting into watching like movie stuff on YouTube. I didn't even know people were talking about movies on YouTube till like 2015, 2016. And it was a show I was watching. They were talking about the Suspiria remake. And that was, I think, in development at that time because that came out in 2018. And then they started talking about the original. So the way that they were talking about it and describing it kind of like as one of the most influential horror movies of all time, kind of comparing it to The Exorcist, I'm like, well, I got to check this one out. So at that time, I was getting back into collecting physical media, starting on my Blu-ray collection again. So I went online to search for a Blu-ray of it because I wanted to own it. I think I found the Synops one first, and that was like $35. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. That was back before I was rolling deep in physical media. So didn't get that version. But then I found this one like right below it. This is a Korean import of Suspiria.
Nice.
And this was $15. So I don't think this has special features or anything, but that's how I watched Suspiria for the first time. And from there, I just kept going down the Argento rabbit hole. I didn't really, I guess, hear about anybody else or feel like I needed to go anywhere else. I watched Tenebrae next, and Suspiria, just going back to my thoughts on that initially, I didn't quite know how to feel about it. At first, I was like, what is this? Like, this is weird. Like, I don't know. I was kind of a little uppity and pretentious about my film taste at that time. Like, good movies had to have good performances and good dialogue and things like that. So it was a little bit jarring for me to get into Italian horror at first. But so I liked it okay, but I didn't think it was like the scariest movie ever made, like they were promoting. But Tenebrae, like that is what really got me into Italian horror, because I loved that movie from the first time I watched it. And then from there, I think I watched Phenomenon next. I don't know how it would have been if my second movie would have been Phenomena. I might have just bowed out because I didn't like Phenomena at all. I love it now, but I did not like it then. And then from there, I went to Opera. Opera was okay. Still haven't revisited that. I haven't watched the 4K. And then I watched Deep Red, and I love Deep Red. But since then, like I don't feel like I've ever dove like straight in. Like I've probably seen maybe 30 to 35 Italian horror films. It's like I feel if I start to like binge Italian horror, it all starts to run together for me, and I can't like remember what's what. So
especially Giallo, probably
I space them out, and I watch like 5 to 6 a year. It's almost like an event when I watch Italian horror.
I was gonna say I don't know what's
and it's
what.
usually tied to like a new physical release. But yeah, I don't know. Suspiria was weird because like I didn't love the movie, but I found myself, I just kept listening to the score like over. I knew the score was great. And I just kept listening to it like over and over again. I probably listened to it for like a year before I rewatched the film. But now I love it. But yeah, it was kind of difficult to get into at first, but
Steven.
So I actually initially I got put on to Zombie. So that was the first film that I got put on to because of at the time I was like really diving into like various like zombie movies at the time. This was in high school, so I got a DVD copy of Zombie, and I just remembering just how strange it was. You guys were talking about like the dubbing being kind of off for certain actors and actresses, and let alone you obviously had like the infamous shark versus zombie scene. I'd never seen anything like that. So yep. So that was a big deal, finding out about that. I remember like the eye gouging scene, and it was so drastically different compared to Dawn of the Dead that I was like, I got to know more about these movies. And then that's naturally when I discovered Suspiria, and it branched off from there. So I kind of went down the rabbit hole over time. And I would say, I know Chris and I talk about this quite a bit, but it's probably like my favorite subgenre of film.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. Josh.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Is this mic working good?
You sound perfect.
Sound perfect. Sweet. Thanks for having me. I have a complicated history with Italian horror too. Probably I'm like 40, so I think I was a junior in high school, so it was probably like 2000, 2001. My best friend was watching this VHS called House by the Cemetery, and it looked so bad. It just looked old, and like it was really grainy, and the audio didn't match up. But then there was the knife between the head kill, in the very beginning, the dream sequence. I was like, there's something cool about this, but I just wasn't ready for it. I kind of talked some shit, and I was like, maybe later I'll watch it. And then I went to like a Hastings video like the next weekend, and they had 7 Doors of Death, which was the worst copy of The Beyond like ever on DVD. I think it was like $30, and I bought it, and it had that crazy cover, with like the old woman's skull, and it just blew me away. And I was like, okay, maybe there's something to this. And then I just became a Fulci like fanatic for probably the last 20 years. I like Argento too, but for me, it's Fulci, D'Amato. There's some Argento that I like, but
100%.
I'm a huge fan of Italian horror. But it started off, complicated. So
yeah, hell yeah. For me, really quick, is that my first watch was Suspiria. And I was kind of like the same thing with like Jordan. I was like, what the fuck's wrong with the audio? Like what is going on? But what really got me, and I think really for like most people, because again, we can talk about it, but like the visuals really attracted me. Like I was like, what the hell? This is like eye candy. Part of it was like when I'm seeing these beautiful visuals from Argento, like it just made me want to like keep my eyes glued on the screen. And again, that's part of the thing that that Italian horror is known for, is a little bit more of the stylistic approach to filming and stuff like that, to visuals, and so that's what kind of got me into Italian horror. Then after that, I saw Deep Red. Like I just went into this whole Argento thing, and then like man, I found like one of my favorite horror movies, zombie movies, besides of course the Zombie, because that one's a really good one. But damn it, I freaking love Burial Ground. I was like, what the hell is this shit? Like that, like it to me is just like perfect. The acting, the special effects, like all of it is bad but good. And the story plot and the guy who's supposed to be a kid and everything else and the relationship between them. I was like, this is my fucking type of movie, man. And so like that made me, like those movies specifically made me want to dive even more and more and more, because I absolutely love Italian horror. I love Giallo films. And that's something that we can talk about now, guys. I know we talked about it a little bit in the messages, but for you guys, is there a difference between Giallo and Italian horror? And is it all the same? For me, it is a little different, but for some others, maybe it's not. So, Chris, my man, you were very passionate. I love to hear it in my headphones, please.
Yeah. So I think horror to me is like a tree, and it has many different branches, right? And it crosses over into tons of different categories. And I think with Italian horror, especially, there's multiple phases of it. You have the 60s, which was heavy Gothic, going into the 70s. But then for a long stretch of time, all Italian horror was Giallo. That just completely swept the market and took it over. And to me, I think it's the same conversation everybody has with Silence of the Lambs. Some people say it's a thriller. Some people say it's a horror. I think it's rooted in horror, and it was labeled a thriller to give the Academy a reason to give it some awards. So I think it was dampened down from that. To me, Giallo, though coming from and inspired by thriller novels, is authentic Italian horror post-Gothic era. I think thriller always kind of blends into horror more than we give it credit for. And when I sit down and I watch a Giallo, for the most part, I consider it a horror film. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. GC.
How do I follow up after that? I have no idea. But so, being quite frank, no pun intended, I can't even tell the difference between the Giallo and Italian horror just because of the infancy that I'm at right now with it. Like I said, I've only seen 3 movies. I think I need a little bit more time to fully grasp the differences. I can say, and I know this is not part of the question, but I can say I've noticed a significant difference between Italian horror and American horror or Korean horror. And it's just I do want to say that I noticed the atmosphere. The atmosphere is just in these films is just so phenomenal, and the gore. I mean, man, like they really went in with the practical effects, and it's just stuff that I've never seen before, and it's just been mind blowing for me. But yeah, I think that's the best answer I have right now.
No, that's great, man.
I will say, just because I know both of you have, but when we talked about Spider Labyrinth on the podcast, I would not consider Spider Labyrinth to be a Giallo. But I know you, Frank, you saw it for the first time. I think GC, you bought it as well. Jordan did. A couple other people did as well after we were talking about it. But you can... It's really hard to watch that movie and not pick up on all the Giallo influence. Even
There's a lot of Argento influence in that.
A ton, yeah. And I do think that's the constant bleed over endlessly. Is like Argento is your number one, probably the most copied from Giallo director. And there is a point in Italian horror, if you want to divide it, where people just wanted to be Argento. So they were making their movies and then adding these Giallo elements in because they were so inspired. And I think that's kind of where it gets a little muddy to try to say one is one and one is another. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Chris, I do got a question for you, man. Or I guess for the whole panel, like a movie, like for example, like Cannibal Holocaust, is that what category is that considered? Because I know from you were saying Giallo is more
cannibal.
Yeah,
it's a cannibal movie, baby.
Yeah,
okay. Found footage.
There is a full cannibal Italian subgenre that Cannibal Holocaust sits on the throne, but that is a full blown.
That's a road I have not been down yet.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Okay. So good.
Daniel.
I think it depends on the Giallo, honestly. Giallos vary in like what kind of horror degree they are. Like, to use my two favorite Giallos as an example, one, Tenebrae. Tenebrae is a Giallo, but it's also 100% slasher. It is a slasher movie. It feels like one. It looks like one. It's structured like one. But then my second favorite Giallo is The Case of the Scorpion's Tail by Sergio Martino. I don't think that's a horror movie at all. It doesn't look like one. It doesn't feel like one. It doesn't seem like it's building up any scares. Almost every scene in the movie is in broad daylight. It's very much a thriller and a romance movie. And there are a lot of Giallos that like they have hardly any sequences at night. Like it's just about people walking around like investigating a murder. And you'll get murder sequences that are more graphic than like an Agatha Christie movie. But other than that, it's just like an Agatha Christie kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But then there are other Giallos like Tenebrae, Deep Red, I would say, that feel like they're really just going for horror. They're trying to scare you, to shock you. And a lot of Giallos are more focused on sexuality even than scares or violence. Mm-hmm. So it depends on which one. But ultimately, also, who cares? Just like watch them and enjoy them. It's all good.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Jordan.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the camp with Chris. And I kind of want to go off of his tree analogy. Yeah, I could almost see Italian horror as its own tree, and then Giallo as a branch off of Italian horror, if that makes any sense. Right? So I think Giallo is, in my opinion, yes, it's Italian horror, but it's a subset of Italian horror. It's its own, does its own thing, but I still think at the core it's still connected to an Italian horror film.
Ken.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with pretty much everything that's been said. I mean, it kind of is, like Chris said, there's a similar argument to, is it a thriller? Is it a horror movie? It's just whatever you base it on, I mean, I watched a movie called The Sunday Woman, and I think it was a Radiance title, and that was kind of like a murder mystery, and kind of like Daniel said with the one movie he was talking about, it didn't really give me any horror vibes at all, but it kind of was a little bit of a Giallo as well. I think a Giallo can be a horror film. And I think that most, to me, like I would consider them that, but not all Italian horror films are Giallo. I think that's kind of the mistake that some people make. But then you also have a movie like Suspiria that kind of, to me, like the opening sequence is a little Giallo. The way that it opens up. Yeah, there's some supernatural stuff in there, but it kind of starts off, you're kind of trying to figure out what's going on, and it almost plays like a whodunit in the beginning of the film. But then it kind of transitions. So I feel like there's Giallo elements in Suspiria, even though I wouldn't call Suspiria Giallo.
I just push back on that a little bit. I think that's just because so much of what Giallo is was built by Argento. So kind of everything he does seems Giallo just because his style became what Giallo was defined by.
Yeah, he's pretty much like the ground that everything after him stood on. And then Argento was actually kind of pushed out by your Bavas and your more traditional Giallo filmmakers because he was so different. And then it got to a point where you had no choice but to do what he did because that's what people wanted, and that's what Giallo became. So Giallo pre-Argento, which wasn't around really all that long, was that of like a different style, and Argento kind of forcefully changed it.
Yeah.
Steven.
I would have to say, like, I think that kind of what you guys were talking about is it depends on the film, the director, but ultimately there feels like there's a lot of overlap between, if you're talking horror or just Italian horror, I guess for the sake of the this episode, but feels like there's a lot of overlap between Italian horror, Giallo, and then to like a certain extent it feels like there's a lot of like elements that are used, I guess, in more of the slashers that we know and love. And I think that that's kind of what drew me into this initially, because before really getting into like Tenebrae and Deep Red, like slashers were some of the movies that I grew up on. So seeing a little bit of like similarity in that, I think was what really drew me into it. So I guess it depends on the film ultimately, or the directing style. But yeah, I could see there being some overlap.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to take any Agatha Christie murder mystery and paint it dark, make it contrasty, really kind of like spice it up a little bit, I think it would automatically kind of become a horror film. And that's why there's different shades to Agatha Christie, and there's so many different interpretations. Like any story based around, take Knives Out. You can easily turn Knives Out into a straight up horror movie.
Yeah. Are you speaking about it from like an aesthetic standpoint? Like, is it the aesthetic of the film that makes it a horror film, or is it the content of the film, the story? Because it's like you take a movie like Basic Instinct, which is kind of like a whodunit murder mystery, or Scream, which is also a whodunit murder mystery. Like, what makes one a horror and one a thriller? Because
I mean, I think it comes down to interpretation, because definitely under a different color palette, under darker lighting, you do.
It's like I view Basic Instinct as a thriller. I view Scream as a murder or as a horror film. Like, what makes my mind think that? Or Dress to Kill. Brian De Palma's Dress to Kill. Like,
we were talking about that earlier.
I don't look at that as a horror movie.
I think whether or not the director seems to be trying to scare you, because in Basic Instinct, I don't think there are any scare sequences. No one's trying to make you jump or
so there has to be somebody that comes out and goes, "Wow."
Kinda, because you could talk about Basic Instinct, Scream. Ghostface is popping out all the time, and there is like mounting tension and release and stuff like that. And Basic Instinct doesn't have anything like that.
I mean, same with Dress to Kill. I think
Dress to Kill is a horror movie.
Yeah, I think those elements are there, especially in the museum scene. That endless buildup of tension.
Yeah, a lot of that movie feels.
Dress to Kill is a Psycho copy, and Psycho is a horror movie.
Yeah, exactly. I just think it really. I mean, yes, it might take some reworking, but I think you could fairly easily take a Basic Instinct and turn it into a pretty freaky little movie.
mean, the opening scene in that film is pretty damn gnarly.
Oh yeah,
there is a lot of violence in Basic Instinct.
Yeah, it's just interesting. It's like Jaws. Jaws. I don't view that as a horror movie. I view it as an adventure film.
The weird thing with Jaws is,
I'm not going to argue with anybody that says it is, because there's obvious horror elements in there. But to me, like the real heart of that film is the three men on the boat, and it just feels like an adventure.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, I think the thing with that is,
look at Josh.
That's the second half, and the first half of Jaws is very much a horror movie. Yeah, and the second half of Jaws is a men on a mission adventure movie. Yeah, so it really just changes halfway through.
Yeah, I mean,
I just don't view it that way.
But I also, if I feel like watching a horror movie, I'm not going to put on Jaws ever, even though it's my second favorite movie ever made.
Park.
I don't think Jurassic Park is a horror movie at all.
Yeah,
There's some scenes in that film that will
Yeah.
stick with me for the rest of my life. That scared the
I think
crap out of
it's
me
when you
also.
see that too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, so as a massive Indiana Jones fan, Temple of Doom is clearly much more horror influenced.
Yeah, Spielberg
sure.
just puts horror into his movies a lot,
Yeah.
which I think is one thing that makes him so great.
And has he ever made an outright horror film? I'm trying to think.
No,
I don't think
I don't think he has.
unless you got Jaws, except Jaws.
Yeah, Poltergeist. Yeah.
Poltergeist is like half.
Poltergeist.
Before we go too much, Josh, I want to get your input.
Just piggybacking off of that, Jaws is my favorite movie of all time. I think it depends on when you see that. I watched that when I was like 6, like through the crack of a door. I wasn't supposed to be awake, and it shattered my existence. It was the scariest thing I'd ever seen. I don't consider it horror now. Like, it is more of like an action adventure with some horror elements. And then everything everybody else said. Yeah, I mean, the sexuality part, I think of, some of those giallos is, it almost seems to be more of the focus. And then there's just layers to it where even Fulci's got this period, Don't Torture a Duckling, like where there's these movies that are kind of more murder mystery, kind of whodunit style. If I want to watch Italian horror, it's, Mario Bava, I'm a huge fan of. Those are just they're different. I don't know. It's so cool that Italian horror has so many different layers. I'm definitely more into the gore and cannibalism than I am giallos, but you can't, overstate things like Deep Red, some of the slashers that he's done, even, obviously Suspiria. But yeah, great conversation. I mean, 9 people went, so it's like, Jesus, how do you follow it?
So, really quick, before we get into our top 5, is that what makes how do I want to put this? What's the impact that you think Italian horror has for this, because it's a subgenre? Like, what do you think it has as in the horror genre, right? Because there's so many people, like we talked about it, how Mario Bava was like one of the first influential directors, right, for Italian horror. Then it went to Dario Argento, and then it just goes on and on and on. But like, how do you think that Italian horror really influenced horror in general?
I mean, I would say more than anything, Italian horror kind of really abandoned the narrative for the most part and went for the most visual impact possible. A lot of Italian horror is very difficult to follow. It's not finishing out plot lines. It's not concerned with wrapping things up into a nice little bow. It's a very visual
atmosphere.
Practice. Yeah, it's very atmospheric. And I think while that never directly translated over to American cinema, I think the visuals were just so impactful that carried over immensely pretty much to the rest of the world. I think it opened up new avenues for excess. Like Lucio Fulci is one of the few directors who can show you a clear dummy on the ground, like plain as day, the fakest thing you've ever seen. And yet there's something to the way he shoots it that still squirms you like no other. You know what I mean? It's just like, there's this sensibility to it that I feel like forever impacted movies. And as I think Italian horror was impacted so greatly by American cinema, I think it gave it right back.
Anytime you see an exploitation film now, it's definitely, you can see that Italian horror all over it. Eli Roth, his cannibal films, even Hostel, it's like they're huge influence from Italian horror.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely I think Frank's on mute, but
mute.
I feel like Eli
Frank.
Roth, and even I would say Quentin Tarantino. I mean, he initially really put the spotlight on the Beyond and was like really an advocate for pushing that movie. So I mean, you never know like what type of impact that could have had on people that are following his films so closely. I mean, that might open the door for them.
Could I also add to for me, like with Eli Roth and just watching a few of the Italian horror movies, I've noticed that with Italian horror, at least in my interpretation, it seems like it's a part of the story, and it's not really like trying to get so much of a reaction from you. Like it is, but it's more. It's trying to make you feel something, but it's a part of the story. Like if it's, for example, Cannibal Holocaust, right? I know it's his own genre now, but there's a story behind it. There's a deeper meaning where when you leave after watching this movie, it's like you're not just thinking of the horrors that you just saw, but there was a narrative. Compared to like Eli Roth, he's more just trying to get a reaction from you, in my opinion. Because every time I see his movies, it's more like it just seems kind of like horror porn. Like it's like that's like he's just trying to freak you out as hard as possible, like in Inferno, for example. I mean, I know he was inspired from Italian horror movies and stuff like that. I mean, most of these people that do zombie movies, I'm assuming they're coming from Cannibal Holocaust and all these things. But yeah, it just seems like he's just the message gets a little lost sometimes, and it's more of just like kind of gross you out or freak you out a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it still exists. The influence is still there, and it's just lost on a lot of modern day audiences that are not in the thick of it like we are. I mean, look at Ty West with Maxine. Yes, big William Lustig, New York, gritty, all that inspiration was there, but tons of Giallo influence. And then Shudder just a couple years ago, God, I'm blanking on his name. Travis, forget his last name, but with a Wounded Fawn.
Travis Stevens,
yeah, with a Wounded Fawn. I mean, that film is pretty much ripped straight out of the fabric of Italian horror, both Giallo and general Italian horror. So the influence is still there, and it's heavy.
I mean, they basically inspired the entire 80s slasher movement. I mean, with Friday the 13th, I mean, Giallos were a huge inspiration for Friday the 13th.
Maniac, all that Lustig stuff.
Yeah, Daniel, you had your hand up.
Yeah. I just got to say, I do think it's a little interesting to talk about like the influence of Italian horror, because so much of what Italian horror is just ripping off other movies. Like that is so ingrained in the history of Italian horror.
They ripped off Dirty Harry hardcore.
Dude, they rip off everything.
Because
there's
Dirty
so
Harry's
many.
one of the best Giallo films I've ever seen. 100%.
Dirty Harry is awesome. Yeah, so like so much of what it is ripping off other stuff. In fact, Giallo, it's so completely ripped from Psycho. Like the entire genre is like built on the bones of Hitchcock's Psycho, and really just Hitchcock in general. And so much of what Argento is, and I love Argento, is like, what if Hitchcock was able to have more blood and boobs? And like, that's kind of what Argento does. And that's what so many of these guys do. And I think Ken makes a really good point about, yes, Giallo did have some influence on slashers. I think Italian horror didn't have a lot of influence for a long time because it was so completely looked at as trash. For so long, it was looked at as garbage, worst of the worst cinema. But that's changed now, and now there's way more respect on Italian horror. And I feel like there's a lot of Italian horror influence in horror movies today. Like Chris mentioned some Malignant. When I went to see Malignant, I had no idea it was going to have anything to do with Italian horror Giallo. I was expecting another Conjuring. And I'm seeing him do these like crash zooms like Fulci. And I'm like, holy cow, I feel like I'm watching a Fulci movie. This is insane. Like Last Night at Soho is another one. I see Italian horror influence in movies all the time now.
Neon Demon.
Yeah. And I feel like that's newer, and it's very cool to see.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people forget that Giallo being based on the Italian novels, the yellow covers, Giallo being yellow, but most of those Giallo books were actually ripoffs of American pulp crime stories.
Yeah.
So even the basis of Giallo was ripped off of ripping off existing.
And Chris, what I was thinking about when you were talking about how like, Giallo kind of leaves away the narrative and threads to connect, so much of that is because of the culture in Italy at the time. I don't know how it is now, but at that time in Italy, people did not go to the movies to pay attention. They came in and out. They did not come at start time. They didn't leave at leave time. They hung out. They talked. Like it's most people in America's nightmare to like go to the movies in Italy in that time. So yeah, the filmmakers did not care. They don't need to make it make sense. People aren't paying that much attention. Like they want to see some blood and boobs, and then they'll go back to talking to each other.
I feel like unfortunately we're back in that theatrical experience here in America. Though.
With the Minecraft movie, we're getting there.
Don't mention that. Don't mention that.
That was a masterpiece.
I didn't see it. I don't know.
The director of Napoleon Dynamite.
People
I do
screaming.
like Napoleon
Oh my
Dynamite.
god!
I spend
It's
the
fun.
first
Hell yeah.
half hour in a movie theater anxious about who I'm surrounded by and what experience I'm going to have. And then sometimes, like most of the time, it turns out okay, but 6 times out of 10, I am handed the worst situation in a movie theater possible.
All right, so thank you guys so much, man. I want to get into our top 5 because we can just talk freaking forever, and we're like 46 minutes into it, y'all, and it just feels like we're getting warmed up. Just before we move on really quick, I just want to say thank you, Danny, so much for your super chat. I greatly appreciate it. And also, guys, hit the like and subscribe button, all that type of stuff. And again, subscribe to these wonderful creators because they're all fucking cool, guys. All right, guys, top five. I don't care if it's doubles. I don't care if it's the same damn movies. What I care about if these movies connect to you, and that to me is more important than anything else. But if you guys want to switch off, then go ahead and do it because this is the stream to kind of do that type of thing. Because again, everybody here has a love for the horror genre, Italian horror, but there's people here that maybe don't know about some of these movies that we're discussing, right? So y'all do what the fuck you want to do, but that's the end of it, guys.
Get them.
Yeah, let's go.
But Chris, so I'm going to start off with Chris, GC, and then so on and so forth. So we're going to go from 5 to 1. Start off with 5 from everyone, then move on to 4. So you already know how it goes. So Chris, go ahead. You're number 5.
So my number 5 is from 1960, and it's Black Sunday from Mario Bava, aka The Mask of Satan. I mean, honestly, when I discovered going through kind of like my second resurgence of Italian horror, I was watching a lot of like Bay of Blood, Blood and Black Lace, a lot of these earlier ones. And Black Sunday to me was one that took me multiple rounds to kind of like learn to really love. And I dove into it pretty heavy and really started reading about its influence and how this was the starting point of ditching narrative, going for visuals. And I mean, those black and white visuals in Black Sunday are gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Like, it's incredible that a movie that is now 60 years old looks as good as it does. And I think if you're gonna start your dive into Italian horror, that's a perfect place to start.
I still need to see that damn movie, man, and which I'm ashamed to say. So
excellent cover too. Excellent cover.
Mm-hmm. You know what I was thinking about, Chris, while we were having the influence discussion? I was thinking, what is the influence of like Gothic Italian horror? Because I would have to say who made Gothic cool again at that time was Hammer, when they made like especially Horror of Dracula in '59, and then Mario Bava kind of jumped off of that and did Black Sunday in '60. But I was thinking, like, did Italian Gothic have some kind of big impact? And I love Italian Gothic, but I'm not sure if it did. I think they're just kind of jumping off Universal and Hammer.
Yeah. Really quick. I was doing some little bit of research, and I found that Mario Bava worked on I Vampiri with Riccardo Frida.
Yeah, he directed a lot of it, actually.
Yeah.
Well, that's what was...
Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was just going to say, that's what was cool about Bava at that time was he's kind of like universally ripping off Universal and Hammer at the same time. Like, how do we get the atmosphere of Universal, and then how do we take the newfound violence and excess of Hammer and put that together? And that's kind of what Black Sunday is. And I still think Italian Gothic has some of the best imagery in all the Gothic genre. I think
I'd agree with that.
Black Sunday has just incredible framing, beautiful production. Like,
it's got like maybe the best opening scene of all time. It's good.
It's incredible. And for a movie from 1960, the scene when the metal mask is placed on the character and to see blood squirting out of the mask, it's a pretty incredible, like, how groundbreaking this was. And it kind of like took Hammer and was like, let's push this a little bit further. And then you were born with Black Sunday. And I still think it's like one of the most underseen. It's amazing, like, how many people love Italian horror and they're like, who's Mario Bava? I'm like, come on.
Who are these people?
Don't trust them. So I don't have a top 5. I have a top.
You got top nothing.
Top 0.
Oh, no.
That's it. That's it.
GC got the boot.
Oh my god, how freaking perfect was that? Oh my
He
god.
just got into the genre and he's going.
He's gone, he gone, man.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have a top 5? You're out, man. That's
Yeah,
it.
Bye.
Baba said, "Get the
I have 12 movies down here.
Frank be like, if you're not going to take this seriously, do some research. I'm kicking you out.
There we go. There he is.
Oh,
At least fake it.
I know. I thought Joe the plumber got him.
All right. Sorry, guys. My laptop disconnected. No, so
Solid Joe the
saying-
plumber reference.
I got you.
so I like I was saying, I don't have top 5. I have top 3, the only 3 that I've seen. Now I'm gonna rate these based on like they're in order based on how they made me feel. The first one I ever saw, which was I was around 15, 16 years old, downloaded, I believe, from LimeWire. Luckily I didn't get a virus. But and I've talked about it already through the stream, is Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh yeah.
That was, to me, that's number 1, just because how I felt. Like I understood the message behind it, and as I was watching it and seeing the things that were unfolding, it really stuck with me with the narrative, with what was going on during the time. Not to mention, it was something that when I first saw that at that age, I just couldn't believe it. Like I kept thinking, I was like, is this real? I kept researching it, and I was like, no way that something like this would exist, just because never heard about it in theaters at the time. I didn't know anybody that had seen it, and the only reason I did see it is just because I stumbled upon some horror website and they were talking about it. So to me, it was like this. It looked so realistic, and it just kind of like burned into my skull. Now the second movie that I want to rate.
Wait. We're gonna do one by one. You don't go through all of them. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Save it.
Okay.
Save it.
Come on, man. You don't got much up here.
Yeah.
I want to blow them all out.
What's going on top?
Yeah.
He said, "Fuck you guys."
Disconnect.
I'm
Jump the gun.
He says, I'm going. I'll listen to y'all the rest of the show.
Daniel, go ahead.
So to Jordan, I did think about saying the church because I did want to shout out the church, and I wasn't sure I wanted to pull out my number 5 because my true number 5 just got a super fancy 4K release. I didn't buy it because it's insanely expensive and I already have the movie. And I thought, well, maybe I'll let those people show it off, the people that bought it. But I'll say The Beyond because The Beyond is my number 5. I love The Beyond. As anybody who follows my channel knows, I'm obsessed with the Gates of Hell trilogy.
Yep.
And this is the second one. It's most people's favorite in the trilogy. And it's such a Lovecraftian movie about a hotel that is built on a gate of hell, and the gate of hell opens and people start turning into zombies. And what I really love about the Gates of Hell trilogy is it's not just zombies and people rising from the dead, but it's just like weird stuff happens, just weird, creepy, insane things that you can't explain. But I think it works in this context because you just say, well, hell has opened and like spiritual evil is unleashed. So anything goes. And like, sure, a bunch of tarantulas can decide to rip the flesh off of somebody's bones, which I did a deep dive review of this movie and I clocked it. I think it was like 6 minutes. Like 6 minutes straight that tarantulas just eat somebody on screen. Some real tarantulas, some just plastic tarantulas just kind of bounce it back and forth like this. I think, people struggle with Italian horror because like the artifice of it, like so much of it looks fake and it just seems fake because of the dubbing. But I love it. I don't know. I love the theater of it. I love how like just crazy and weird it is. And especially with the Gates of Hell trilogy, it works so well because like spiritual evil is unleashed from hell. Anything can happen. Like it doesn't need to seem real. And I love it. So The Beyond rules. And it has, like I said, Black Sunday maybe has the greatest opening of all time. The Beyond maybe has the greatest ending of all time. It's
I was
amazing.
just going to say, I think The Beyond has my favorite visual interpretation of hell.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And really, it's just like a bunch of drunk people that they paid in booze and just had lay on the ground naked and painted with stuff.
I mean, come on, I would agree. I'd be like, yeah, all right, let's go.
So another great thing about Italian horror is these movies are often made really unethically. And you learn about the making of like, they did some crazy shit to make this movie.
That's so funny. Jordan, you're number 5.
My number 5, not a lot of people that I hear talk about this. I wanted to throw something in there that's kind of throw a wrench in the middle of everything. But this is a DiMartino film, and The Antichrist.
Okay.
It's the Exorcist ripoff. Talking about ripoffs, but at first I was unsure about seeing this movie because I knew they were trying to emulate The Exorcist, and they were trying to we're going to push it even further. It was a phenomenal movie, and I just remember the first time seeing it, the scenes that stuck out to me was the hallway scene with the busts. And I don't know why, but the way they just seemed like they'd follow you. It reminded me like the Haunted Mansion, right? You go to Disneyland or Disney World, the bus that would follow you. And immediately what I thought of when I saw this. But so much of this movie I absolutely love. I think the ending's really good on this film. Yeah, I don't know. Not much to say about this, but I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I want to throw something in there that is kind of, I guess, under talked about. So The Antichrist is my number 5.
I haven't seen it. I got to watch that.
That's a Kino one, right?
Yeah, it's Kino Cult.
I've scrolled past it in Kino sales. I didn't even know it was Italian, or I probably would have bought it.
Yeah, it's really good. You should check it out.
Cool.
Ken, you're number 5.
My number 5. I don't know if this be my actual number 5, but I wanted to bring it over here because I liked it quite a bit when I watched it a few years ago, and I don't feel like a lot of people will talk about it. But this is Mario Bava's last film, Shock, also known as Beyond the Door 2,
Good choice.
I think.
Great movie.
Yeah, I enjoy this one. It's just a ghost story. It's a woman whose son's being possessed by her dead husband, so completely normal. But I just remember this movie because the thing about Italian horror, it's really hard for me to remember like actual like plots and details because they just feel like dreams. It's like you can't always remember your dreams. But there's the ending to this, like there's just incredibly insane jump scare that like is one of the most insane things I've ever seen in a movie. And it totally got me. So, but yeah, Shock.
Speaking of influence, there's a recent horror movie that came out called The Prodigy. It's not very good, but it rips off that exact jump scare.
I know what you're talking about.
What is The Prodigy?
Yeah.
When did that come out?
Very recent, a few years ago.
Was that
like 5-ish
years
ago?
Was that with the little kid?
Yeah, little kid. Like the poster is his face kind of painted like a skull.
I feel like I saw that in theaters. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, maybe.
Was that before the pandemic?
Yeah, I think it's pre-pandemic.
Yeah, because I was going to theater like twice a week. And I would see films that weren't worth seeing, like The Prodigy.
The fun story about Shock.
But yeah, this was, I think, co-directed by his son. Like, I don't know. They say his son directed most of this because it was 77 and Mario was on his way out. So
I was in a Barnes & Noble right when they started really carrying Arrow heavily. And they had this little Arrow section. And every slot, which had to be 9 of them, had one copy of Shock in it. Like behind another title. And a group came in behind me and they were shopping the section. And I was so tempted to be like, can somebody please just pick up Shock? Like somebody grab Shock. And then they criticized how terrible the selection was and left. And I was like, God damn it.
I mean, this cover art's gorgeous. And I didn't mention it, but this has Daria Nicolodi, and I think she's great. So,
Steven, you're number 5.
So I recently did like a top 5 for like different Italian horror films, but I wanted to plug maybe some lesser known ones just to get a little bit more exposure. So we kind of wanted to open up to you guys. So one of the films I picked was Nightmare City, Umberto Lenzi's 1980 film. So I felt like when I initially saw that, like, I wouldn't say it's like the best quality as far as film goes, but it feels like it kind of laid the groundwork for your faster moving zombies. I guess in this film, they're considered like radioactive, like mutants essentially. But yeah, it's a film that I don't feel like gets talked about a lot, but if you're, looking to kind of jump into this, I think that this is like maybe like a lesser known title that I always try to plug for sure.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard of that before. So
who put that out? Is that Arrow?
Yeah. Yep. Arrow.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a wild movie. I love Umberto Lenzi.
Yeah, it's like off the rails. Like, I don't know. I can't recommend this one enough.
It is some of like just the most ridiculous paper mache zombies ever.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
You say paper mache zombies?
Oh yeah, that's what a lot of zombies look like in Italian
burial
movies
ground.
to me. It looks
Yeah,
like they
burial
just put
ground.
paper
Yeah,
mache
yeah.
on their
Yeah.
faces.
Nice. Hell yeah. Josh, you're number 5.
Yeah. I have a bunch. If it's not a cannibal film or Fulci, I try to pick some stuff that was kind of out of the norm because it would just be boring to pick the same movies for everybody. So kind of piggybacking off of what Chris said, this is my favorite Bava film, 1963's Black Sabbath. This has my second favorite like short in an anthology ever, In the Drop of Water. I think it is just, oh my god, this film. I mean, it's got Boris Karloff too, but The Drop of Water is so fucking good when that woman's laying in the bed and the nurse steals the ring and the camera keeps zooming in on them. It's got, the telephone's pretty good, the Wordalac is all right, but The Drop of Water,
Whoa! They're all
so
amazing.
good. They're all amazing. The Drop of Water though, I'll just put that on if it's storming out. I'll just put it on and watch 25 minutes of just perfection. I love this movie so much. I love 1960 just left my mind. Black
Sunday.
Black Sunday. Yeah, I like Black Sabbath better, but number 2 is probably Black Sunday. But yeah, Bob is so awesome. This one has so much just charm and gothic, everything about it, dude. The narration from Karloff, just sick, man. Love it.
Okay,
Love it.
Josh, I need to ask: AIP cut or Italian cut?
Well, I usually go with the Italian cut. This is the Kino one though, right? So
A lot of people think it's sacrilegious. I'm an AIP cut guy. I like that order better.
It's still good. It's still good. It's still good.
Well, speaking of paper mache zombies, boom.
Oh,
That's a
Burial
gem.
Yeah, that is my number 5. This is my top 3 zombie movie. I already said some stuff about it earlier, but I mean it, man. Like, just the weird, ludicrous, like, acting, the storyline, the paper mache, how the zombies look, but just like everything about it is just flipping amazing. A bunch of friends come over to a friend's house. Little did they know that there's a damn zombie in the basement. Shit goes crazy, and I love it. And there's some great gore, and like I said earlier, there is just a weird family dynamic, acting and everything between the mama and the kid and the boy.
Greatest nursing scene ever.
Oh my god!
Oh, I don't know about it. Oh,
My favorite.
Smells like death.
My
Yeah.
favorite plot point, my
Whoa,
favorite
do it
plot
again.
point of Burial Ground is it's a group of friends that go just to have sex all weekend. That's literally why they.
And one of them brought her child.
Yeah.
For the listeners who don't know, this child is played by an adult man, a very short adult man.
Frank, man, where's your Severin release?
I was gonna say, you don't have the Severin one?
You didn't get the pillowcase?
I was gonna ask.
No,
that.
no, I will get it eventually, but yeah, I got the 88 films, man. That was my first one, so
Cool cover.
Yeah,
I think Severin's. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool cover.
I
Chris,
spent like $45 on that, and they made me question why do I do the things that I do.
And then you made a video called Changing My Mindset on Collecting.
That came 6 months later.
You don't love the soundtrack yet?
No, I like the movie. I did.
Yeah.
You know,
That
somebody
shit's
gets
so
their titty bit off. It's a win.
gold stamp.
Just
Chris,
like Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. That's
Oh,
a
there we
favorite
go.
too.
Oh, that's a better movie, though.
I love
better.
that movie.
Yeah, that's better than Burial Ground.
So for my number 4, I'm gonna go with one that I discovered through Arrow's Giallo Essentials box set, and this one's notorious because it's actually the cover of, I believe, the black box, and it's from 1974. It's called The Killer Reserved 9 Seats, and this is an incredibly interesting one because it tells the story of a group of people at a party. One of the members of the party purchased this old theater, this incredibly historic theater. He gets convinced to bring a group of partygoers to this theater, and when he gets there, the keys disappear, the doors lock themselves, and one by one, in typical Giallo style, they begin to get killed off. The really cool thing about this movie, though, is that it adds in a really cool supernatural element that they were pulled to this theater, and all of their deaths are actually predicted because they're part of a ritual that has to occur every so many years to keep the spirit of the theater alive. So it features a ton of your standard Giallo fare. It gives every excuse to rip a woman's shirt off. I mean, it's so crazy in that sense. But to me, halfway through, when they find a photo that shows a series of deaths drawn on it, and they notice that there's some sort of ritual happening here, that's when the movie really picks up steam for me. And it's just one that I watched and instantly kind of was like, why has nobody ever talked about this in any sort of interesting way? And then through posting on Instagram, I found more people that were into it. But all of this to kind of say, these box sets being put out by companies like Vinegar Syndrome with the Forgotten Gialli or Arrow with the Giallo Essentials, if people have them on the shelf and they haven't taken a dive into them, there's some gems in there. And I was not expecting to find one of my favorites of all time in one of those boxes.
Hell yeah. GC, you're number 2.
Man, so my number 2, and I know probably going to get a little bit of heat, but this right here.
Ooh.
This, I mean, man, this movie means so much to me because I'm not getting into YouTube and meeting all you fellow creators and just being a part of the community. It's really opened me up to more blind buys. I've never been one to do that. And then with the Italian horror genre, this was one of my first blind buys. And man, like it was such a cool experience. And I remember Chris and Jordan and Steven in particular were like, dude, you got to do it. Cause I asked, I was like, oh man, this looks cool. And they were just like, just do it. They were just like, Shia LaBeouf, just do it. And man, what an experience. I mean, just seeing like you guys were talking about earlier, backing off the atmosphere, the music. I mean, this movie has made me, I've always loved soundtracks for films, but this movie got me so much more excited for it. And for box sets, for example, as well. Like I was, getting this and just seeing the booklet. Guys, always read your booklets. But it's been such a ride. Came with the cool eyeball. I'm sure some of you guys already have it.
Oh
yeah. But with that being said, yeah, it was just such a beautiful film. The sound, the atmosphere, and yeah, it was. Looking back, I'm so glad that I took that plunge and did that blind buy.
I feel like you never forget the first nice box set you spend money on. Like for me, it was the Hellraiser Scarlet box.
Ooh.
Yeah, Waterworld.
What? Love that movie,
dude. You never forget it. I still hold on to that Scarlet box strictly out of nostalgia. And actually, no, I'm sorry. Before that, it was the Arrow UK release of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Before I was region free, and I bought it. I had no idea about regions. Put it in my PlayStation, I think 4, and was severely disappointed I couldn't watch it.
Can I ask you guys something? Because I know GC was talking about the Beyond, but as far as for the Gates of Hell trilogy, do you guys ever feel like that's interchangeable? Which one's your favorite out of the 3 films? Like on any given day?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, for me, yeah.
I'm kind of with Daniel on that one. No, I pretty much have mine set.
City of the Living
But I do
Dead.
love them all. Absolutely.
Ken knows.
Daniel, you're number 4.
So my 4 was Black Sabbath, which is my favorite Mario Bava movie. I think it's one of the greatest horror anthologies of all time. I think every segment is awesome. But Joe kind of took it off the table. So I'm going to shout out another Mario Bava movie I love that hasn't been mentioned. And that is Kill Baby Kill.
Okay.
It's just like such a classic gothic ghost story, and it's like pretty much exactly what you'd expect. It's like an outsider goes into a small little village and they're all afraid of this ghost girl that appears sometimes and kills people, and just like the atmosphere is insanely beautiful. It's like one of the most gorgeous movies I've ever seen. Just very creepy scenes of this ghost girl appearing. And something that always impressed me about it is there is a witch character in it, and she is not evil. She helps out the main characters. And I'm always impressed when I watch an old movie and there's a positive witch. Interesting. But it's really, really good. And it's Martin Scorsese's favorite Mario Bava movie. He is a huge fan of it.
It's a great film.
Yeah.
Marty's seal of approval.
That's
There
right.
you go.
Don't listen to me. Listen to Marty.
Jordan, you're number 4.
So my number 4, we kind of already talked about this earlier, but my number 4 is going to be The Church.
Yeah.
Nice.
You want to talk about atmosphere and just crazy themes in this movie. It dives into just the religious themes, kind of religious hypocrisy. It starts off like back in the day, and you realize that this church is built on a burial ground, and they get into the church and literally all hell breaks loose. Some of the practical effects, the puppetry of what they have, the music too in this. I mean, you have, I forget his name, Keith Emerson, but Goblin also contributed to the music in this as well. So this one, I think it's one of my favorites. Like I said, this is one that stands out to me because this is the one that really made me fall in love with Italian horror. Just, I don't know why when I saw this, it clicked. And, but yeah, guys, I think this is a phenomenal movie. Some of the things is pretty crazy. That one guy meets the girl, and that night they go back to the house and have sex, and
good for them.
Exactly.
He just stops out of nowhere.
Yep. It's like, hold on.
What are you doing?
So yeah, that's my number 4 is The Church.
I will say for Ken, the first time I saw The Church, I thought it was boring. And then I just got the urge to check it out again. I watched it again and I loved it. So sometimes it just takes.
It was okay.
Not that you need to watch it again, No,
I'll watch it again.
Leave it in your dust.
I gotta watch the other 3,000 movies back there first.
Yeah, you got priorities. It's all good.
Ken, you're number 4.
There might be some people that picked the first one on this panel, but I'm gonna go with Demons 2.
Let's go.
Crazy.
My pick.
What?
I like this better than the first. I don't know if it's because the first had really high expectations, and it's not that it didn't deliver. It was good. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was great. But this one I just thought was a lot more fun, and I like the apartment setting. I thought it was a better version of Evil Dead Rise. The little kid demon freaking it freaked me out. So it got some points there as well. But it didn't have, I don't think the effects were as good in this as the first one. The first one has this really iconic set piece. But I don't know, I just enjoyed the setting better. I thought it was more claustrophobic, a little bit more tense.
For sure.
And yeah, Demons 2. I like that one a lot. That's my pick.
That's
my pick, number 4.
Steven, you're number 4.
Josh, don't kill me, man.
I'm sorry, dude.
Don't kill me. Don't kill me, man.
We could mutually talk about this, but yeah, man. So this is Joe D'Amato. I don't even really know where to begin with this. This is one of the, I would say one of the fucked up Italian horror movies out there, dealing with kind of some darker topics. But Josh, what can you add to that? I don't even know where to begin. I just recommend that people watch it. Joe D'Amato, I feel needs to get more love when it comes to his films, and this is definitely one of them for sure.
I think we definitely need it on 4K. That tub scene in the bathroom, man. It is so intense when you watch that. It's just I love it. It's got great music. It's Goblin too, right?
Yep.
Excellent.
Dude, Joe D'Amato has one of the saddest stories out of Italian horror ever. This is a guy who loved making movies, and at the end of his career was pretty much forced to only direct adult cinema to make enough money to support his family and still be behind a camera. After his initial run, nobody gave him a shot ever again in horror.
Mm-hmm.
And that led to a rapid decline in health. And it's really unfortunate what happened to him, because I think if he had given more opportunity to make more horror, I think it would have been very impactful.
I'll be honest, I feel outside of Argento, obviously he's still around, but for a lot of these directors, I don't feel that they got this recognition really till years later. And then it wasn't until you get these nice physical media releases, and then that ultimately leads to a newer audience finding out about these films. But it's just unfortunate. You look at Lucio Fulci or even D'Amato and directors like that, man, it's kind of, they didn't really get their dues till unfortunately after, afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not even just Italian, but American horror directors too. Like Toby Hooper, you know, is one of those guys. Just never really got the kind of recognition he deserved. A lot of horror directors are like that.
Yeah.
Josh, you're number 4.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I think I'm gonna go with is it Michael Suave, Michelle, Miko,
Michele.
however you say it.
Michele.
I love the church too. I think the church has such a cool atmosphere with all of the, like, just the paintings and the murals and like the idea of like that church is the gateway to hell. Super awesome. I love all the art, but I think for me, I'm going Della Morte, Cemetery Man. Just to switch it up. I love this release. I think this thing looks stunning on 4K. Crazy story. He only made 4 movies and then, not as crazy as D'Amato, but I think Cemetery Man has amazing zombie gore. It's just got this vibe. It's like the most American of the Italian films, I think. It's got a quick speed. It's just like boom, boom, boom. And I watched it last night just as a refresher because I thought about putting the church in there. Because when I watched it, it was so crazy as a younger dude. But Cemetery Man, excellent film.
For those who haven't seen Cemetery Man and kind of want to get an idea of the vibe, there's a subplot about a group of children who are killed in a bus crash, and then right after, during the funeral scene, the children who did not go sing a song about how if they didn't go on the trip, they would all still be alive. And it's like one of my favorite comedy bits in that whole movie.
Super morbid.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece. I love it.
It's so good.
Yeah. My number 4 is going to be the first Lucio film that I saw, and that's City of the Living Dead. And that was because piggyback off what Steven said, is that when these movies get badass physical releases, like for me, this is my favorite like slipcover in my entire collection, and this movie, I was floored, man. I was like, what the hell? Because it gets you in the beginning of the movie with the priest, and then of course the girl being buried alive, and then she wakes up, and just all this craziness, and then my eyes never fucking left the TV screen when the screwdriver, the drill, the drill scene, and I was like, "Oh my god, I gotta hide this from my wife and my kids, man. Like they can see this shit. Like this is crazy."
That scene escalates so quickly too.
Yeah. It's just, and of course, this is the start of Lucio's The Gates of Hell trilogy, because literally the fucking gates of open. But this is by Cauldron Films, by the way, and I love it. I mean, I freaking double dipped with the Arrow Video limited edition 4K. I just simply love the film, and I try my best to watch it at least once a year, because I just love it, man. Again, this is the film that got me into Lucio, and he is one of my favorite directors, not just of like within Italian horror, but of all like films that I watch. I just gravitate a lot with Lucio. So Chris, you're number 3.
Yeah, my number 3 is the one Dario Argento film that I have, and I feel like it had a resurgence recently, but it's still one of my favorites, and I'm talking about 1987's Opera. Genuinely, as much as I enjoy Suspiria, I think Inferno is incredibly underseen. I think Opera stands on its own, as I think there's a scale to that movie I really appreciate. I think the setting is incredible in that opera house. But my favorite part of it is the way it kind of draws this unique line with the audience by, the plot. One of the main plot points is that every single time the killer appears, he forces our main character to witness the murder by taping, looks like sewing needles, right under her eyes, so that way she cannot close her eyes or it would shred her eyes, and he's forcing her to witness these murders. And to me, I think that's a really interesting observation of audience and what these horror directors are doing to us every single day when we sit down and watch these movies. I don't know. There's something about that movie that stuck with me, and that Severin 4K really pushed it over for me. I thought that was a beautiful restoration. I thought the return of I can never say her last name, Christina Marcelot. I can't say it. Her coming back into the spotlight with a new film after that was incredible. Everything they did was great. It's just one of my favorite Argento films still to this day.
Nice. Yeah, that was a very nice Severin pick. GC, did you want me to skip you a little bit and then I'll come back to you because again you're only at 3, so I want to make sure that
yeah, dude, let's do that, man. Like we'll skip me for this one. I don't want to spoil it with my last one.
All right, no worries. Daniel, number 3.
Okay, so I'm going with an Argento too, though I thought we weren't talking about Giallos. Chris has pulled out 2 Giallos now. Now I'm like, should I have brought Tenebrae over here? Yeah. What's going on?
Giallo horror, what's the difference? Hey.
Oh, Phenomena.
Phenomena. Absolutely adore Phenomena. It's just one of the most fun movies I've ever seen in my life. Super crazy. Jennifer Connelly has telekinetic powers to communicate with bugs. So bugs help her to solve a string of very graphic murders that are happening to young girls. She also partners up with Donald Pleasance, who is a bug scientist who helps her along. And it is so much fun. And a monkey. Yeah. There is just an insane amount of crazy stuff happening in this. But then it's also kind of like Cemetery Man. It like on a filmmaking technical level, I think it is one of the more accessible Italian horror movies. Probably also because it's got 2 actors you're going to recognize just from American movies, Donald Pleasance and Jennifer Connelly. So one of Jennifer Connelly's first movies, she would do Labyrinth the next year, actually. And so like you're going to watch it and feel like, okay, I could get into this, but then it's just constantly throwing batshit crazy stuff at you. And then the third act is mind-blowing for how much crazy stuff happens. So yes, Phenomena is super fun. I think it's awesome. And it's a crazy movie that Argento directs with an insane amount of skill. So it's like super well made too. And I love it.
I had such a hard turn on that movie. I did not like it at all.
Yeah, that's so interesting. What turned you off about it the first time?
Probably just because I wasn't acclimated to the style of Italian horror. And I just wasn't into it yet. I don't know. I just thought it was weird. She's talking to bugs. I'm like, what is this?
It is weird. You're not wrong.
I do remember liking the ending though, because the ending, like the big bath full of bones and guts and stuff, was very gnarly. But I don't know. I just really got into the music. I feel like with Italian horror in me, it's like 80% music. It's like why I like these movies.
And Phenomena's got a bunch of heavy metal.
Phenomena's got Iron Maiden fused with Goblin, and it's just like one of the most insane musical scores and soundtrack I've ever heard in any movie.
Yeah.
So. I do want to say, I want to defend myself. When Frank brought up Italian horror, I automatically added Giallo, and then it wasn't until today when I was at work I found out he didn't want Giallo, and my list was already set. So I'm
Come on, Frank. I asked him if I could include some spaghetti westerns, and he said no.
Dude, Navajo Joe is basically a horror movie, okay?
That's what I said.
It's got enough violence. That villain is so scary.
Jordan.
So what are we at? 3? Is this 3? Yeah. My number 3, Frank already talked about it, but it's going to be City of the Living Dead. This Fulci film is ridiculous, and kind of what we talked about earlier. This movie doesn't really and a lot of Fulci's stuff and Italian horror in general doesn't really focus on plot lines as much, and it's more just imagery. But the imagery in this is insane. Like Frank talked about the priest at the beginning of the movie that opens the gates of hell for this one. He did talk about the drill scene, but for me it was the woman puking up her guts. That was that scene.
Gnarly.
Oh my gosh, it stuck with me.
One of the main things I remember.
Yeah, the atmosphere where what was it? The town of Dunwich. It's just always just foggy, just dreary, dark. Fabio Frizzi, the legendary Fabio Frizzi, which Steven, I'm insanely jealous of you right now.
Dude.
But yeah, guys, just everything about this. I think this is such a fun movie, and like Frank said, the artwork on this release from Cauldron is just stunning.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But yeah, that it's not my favorite of the city or of the Gates of Hell trilogy, but it's definitely up there, and it's definitely like obviously one of my top favorite Italian horror films.
Ken, you're number 3.
Number 3, I'm going with Tenebrae.
Oh, great
A
choice.
Giallo horror film. This is just one of the coolest movies ever. I don't know. This is my second Italian horror movie, and the kills were just so incredibly gnarly and gory and grotesque. I just had never seen anything like it. Like that last shot with the knife coming through, chopping the arm off. What? You want me to flip it?
Hell
right
yeah!
there, right there.
Woo!
Show that damn thing.
You know,
It's
the
a
shot of
masterpiece.
the girl, the iconic one with the hole in the sheets. It's, I don't know. The freaking camera zooming, going up the house over as the music's playing. Like the Goblin score in this, like Suspiria is the best, but like this, I don't know, it's just so out there and different and just completely unique. But yeah, this one just completely, if I had not watched this, I probably wouldn't have dove very much further into Italian horror. This hadn't been my second one. So that's my
And talk
number
about
3.
influence. I'm pretty sure that shot over the house and all was one of the first ever like crane dolly shots like that. I'm pretty sure that was like brand new technology that Argento had to play with, and that's what he did with it, which is,
And the way he plays the music and just how slow it is and deliberate it feels. I just never seen anything like it. So
And
I was
same with-
completely taken by that film.
and same with like, I do think there is like an art to violence in a way, you know what I mean? There's a level where it gets gruesome, but there is a way to make it artistic. And then that last kill when the arm comes off and she turns and you have that huge spray on the white wall, always like, I was like, God, just very few people do it better than that moment.
Yeah, and Tenebrae has so many moments like that. Like the kills are like legitimately beautiful. It's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. Steven, you're number 3.
So I just wanted to, I haven't heard many people talk about this release, but Vinegar Syndrome released Lamberto Bava's Delirium. I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but
yeah, cool movie.
Yeah, man. It's just like off the rails, like super weird, almost like fringe psychedelic. You know, if you guys are looking for something that's a little bit more obscure, I know we're kind of going back and forth between Italian horror and Giallo, but I felt like there was like a little bit of overlapping elements to this one that I can't recommend highly enough with this release.
I just have to show off I'm old school with Delirium. I got the old Code Red Blu-ray.
Oh shit, yeah.
That cover is
Very cool.
Also, I think this is our first appearance of George Eastman. You got to get George Eastman in here somewhere.
I was waiting for someone to pull out Absurd or an Anthropophagus, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got so many Giallos, Chris. If you got those Giallos out there.
God damn it.
Yeah. This would have been a more fine-tuned list.
I wouldn't have shit to talk about it. We could talk about no Giallos.
Josh.
Well, Anthropophagus, but no, I'm going to go. It's already been said, but I'm going to go with this movie. Just as far as the cannibal genre, I think I love Cannibal Ferox or Pharaoh, however you say it. Ferox, as I always say it. But it's Cannibal Holocaust for me at number 3. These are all probably not going to be in order, but Cannibal Holocaust fucked me up like bad when I watched that. I was living in Bend at the time, Bend, Oregon, and there was this teeny small little like gas station / video store. And the guy was like, it's a $75 charge to rent Cannibal Holocaust because nobody brings it back. So I had to like fill out this little, I had like a pink slip underneath that I got my copy, he got his copy. And I rented it on VHS in probably like 96 or 97. And I didn't know anything about the animal cruelty. It just completely wiped me out. I thought it was one of the best movies I'd ever seen, though, as far as the movie within a movie, the documentary style. And it's one of my favorite movies still. I'm a Cannibal, supporter for sure. I get a lot of shit about it, but I love Cannibal Holocaust so fucking much, so influential. One of my favorite movies. This is one of the best looking 4K too, and I love the damn soundtrack.
I know Chris loves it too, and then I think GC mentioned it, but yeah, it's phenomenal. Absolutely.
That 4K is gorgeous too.
Yeah,
It looks
so good. Yeah.
Justice for the cannibals.
I just want to tell a quick Cannibal Holocaust story. So I watched that with a group of friends, and I got like halfway through it, and I was like, I do not want any more of this in my brain. This is too much. And I literally pulled out my laptop, I put in my headphones, and I watched Jackie Brown while everyone around me finished Cannibal Holocaust. I was like, no more. And I've still only seen half of it, and there's still more Cannibal Holocaust in my brain that I wish was there.
You gotta see the ending, man.
Positively got to kill every mother.
Can I ask you guys, was Cannibal Holocaust, for like as far as Italian horror, was that one of like the earlier movies that you guys got into at the time, or like I know we were talking about a few releases that we had initially gotten into, way back when, but
it was my first one. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
LimeWire. I'm pretty sure I got it off LimeWire. I honestly, thinking back, that first copy of Cannibal Holocaust I watched might not even have been Cannibal Holocaust. On LimeWire.
Might have been real.
Yeah.
It was just footage of the Holocaust.
This
is so demonetized, Frank. I'm so sorry.
Oh, dude, I don't care, man. Yeah, I saw it when I was a long time ago, and honestly, in some ways, like Mr. Franco, I kind of wanted to forget about it a little bit because, again, with the whole animal scenes and everything. But like, I watched it a few times, and just recently with the 4K from 88 Films, which again, it's a great 4K
It looks
transfer.
so good.
That movie is excluding, again, those specific scenes. Like, it's a great movie that I have really fallen into with like that video nasties, all that type of stuff. But yeah, it's still fun.
The one 4K that you wish didn't look that good.
It does look so good.
And the music is so good. Like it's so peaceful and kind of calm and going down the Amazon.
It's so creepy though.
Complete contrast to that, what that film's all
100%.
about.
Yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say I'm kind of torn, man, between. So I don't own that movie, and I've kind of been on the fence because I know Grindhouse has like a Blu-ray release that's a very nice box set with like the soundtrack and everything. But I'm going from the experience of you guys owning the 4K. Would you recommend, even if kind of missing out on some of the goodies, just going directly to the 4K? Or
I've got that Grindhouse one, and it's excellent. It was the way I watched it forever. But that 88 Films, dude.
Okay,
yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's much better.
I was gonna say it knocks out of the park.
Yeah. My number 3 is, we already talked about it, but it is Cemetery Man. This movie is so damn fun. Which I think Josh or Daniel, I think maybe it was Josh, you talked about maybe it's like one of the more accessible Italian horror films for Americans. And that to me, just like, I just loved every little like dark humor type of thing. I love the TNA. I love just how outrageous the storyline is. I mean, there's even like a little moment that kind of felt like Return of the Living Dead on it. And I just simply love Cemetery Man. And this is, to me, a reference 4K transfer that Severin Films did. Just my opinion. But this film is simply so damn fun, and I highly, highly, highly recommend Cemetery Man. Chris, you're number 2.
So I'm going to pull a Fulci title that I don't think anybody else will talk about, but I definitely want to push people to watch it. And number 2, I went with 1977's The Psychic, which
that movie.
is, yeah. So for anybody who found Fulci through the Gates of Hell trilogy, going back to something like The Psychic is a really interesting experience because it's a much more straightforward narrative story. It barely contains any violence.
Yeah, it's very restrained.
Yeah, it's very restrained. And the Gates of Hell trilogy is really when Fulci kind of abandoned focusing on strong narrative structure. He talks about that, or they talk about that heavily in the book that came with that Beyond 4K release, which I didn't know about. But the psychic tells the story of a woman who can essentially see visions of people who, and like in the beginning, she sees visions of her mother committing suicide. She's haunted by this. She grows up, gets married to a rich man. She has these visions one day that force her to pull off to the side of the road of a dead woman, some things in a room, and her being buried in a wall. And she begins to, after kind of starting to reconstruct this, like, I guess it's like a secondary house on his property, her husband's property. She begins to kind of unravel the mystery of her visions. And it's such a calm film. It's not excessive in any way. It just beautifully unfolds the story. It was masterfully restored by Severin, I think. And I never expected to sit down with a Fulci title and be as involved as I was in figuring out this mystery. Like, more than most Giallos I watch, I was so intrigued as to what was happening and just sticking along with the story. And the ending has such a great payoff that's so simple in the reveal. I think it's one of the most underseen Fulci films, but one that really will leave kind of like a lasting impact for not being like, like a lot of people talk about Fulci and you talk about the gore. They're like, oh yeah, the gore is crazy, the gore is crazy, the gore is crazy. You cannot say that for the psychic.
No, not at all.
In any way. So it's an interesting piece of his filmography, and one that I've watched that 4K now 4 or 5 times. I've kind of become a little bit obsessed with it.
Hey, there's a little bit in there, like right at the beginning when she jumps off the cliff and her face just hits the rock a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, there's like that.
Wait, that's Don't Torture a Duckling, right?
No, it's in the psychic too.
It's in the
Both?
psychic.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
She jumps off the cliff and it cuts to the close-up of the fake face smashing in the rock.
Chris, when you were mentioning like dummies in Fulci movies, I just thought Don't Torture a Duckling and that priest going down.
So ridiculous.
He does the same thing in the psychic. Yeah. Yeah, it does the same thing.
GC, I'm gonna skip you one more time because you said you only have one left, and next one is number 1.
Why do you hate me, Frank? What did I do?
Maybe he wants to share it now.
GC,
Just
would
let
you
him
like
go
to share?
twice
You should let him
and do the
choose.
movie twice in a row.
There
You know what? You know what? I have one that I have a suspicion is going to be on my list, so I'll do
How
that
about
one.
for your number 1, you just picked your favorite horror movie?
Oh, you know what? No, that's going to be a tough one. But I'll go with this one if that's all right. I do want to say, Ken, I'm only picking this one because I haven't seen the second one, so don't hate me for it. But yeah, I just
never
saw,
hate you for that.
I saw Demons 1 a few days ago on streaming, in the worst horrible experience because it was like so blurry and terrible. But
Go.
oh no.
No. Oh no.
Where'd you go?
What is happening today? All right, here we go. I think we're back. Let's
Gates
see.
of hell have opened.
Oh, he gone.
Oh, he gone.
Oh,
He gone. They really have.
Guys, I was joking.
Where'd I go?
Damn.
Oh, there we go. And I got rearranged. I'm telling you guys, this stream is cursed for me. But
Welcome to the bottom of the panel, man. Welcome.
that's what happened. Frank just
Feels
moved
good to
me
be
down.
up top.
Yeah.
Frank's like, you
rough
know
down
what?
here.
You're going to the end. But yeah, it was Demons 1. Man, I mean, the fact that this movie had Motley Crue in there, like the music and the soundtrack, and it was just phenomenal. It was such a fun watch. Taking place in the movie theater, that was so freaking cool. I love the cheesiness of it, where it's it's blatantly obvious not to take a movie ticket from some stranger with a weird mask on, and then you see,
I do that.
just be like, you know what, let's do it.
You mean from
Oh,
Mikel
yeah.
Suave.
But man, like seeing that, and then like just learning of also not to touch things you're not supposed to, like a haunted mask, but
Never do that. I learned that at 11 with the haunted mask. Goosebumps.
Oh yeah,
Dude, I got the haunted mask right back there, bro.
What is that back here?
Life lesson.
Yeah, it's at the top of the shelf, top corner.
But besides
That's
that, between the music and that scene, I was telling Jordan about this, I believe yesterday. The scene where it shows that hallway with the blue light, and then you see the demons running up and their eyes lit up.
Yeah.
Man, that was so beautiful. Even seeing it in the conditions that I did.
This image right here.
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah.
It's on the damn
man.
thumbnail.
That's a
Hell
German
yeah.
media book, baby.
My God, when I saw that, I just knew. I was like, I need to order this and I need to watch this on 4K because it was just beautiful. So I mean, yeah.
GC, was it like, because I know we've talked about it before, but was it what you were expecting with that movie, or?
You know, from you guys telling me, and then obviously you guys yet to steer me wrong, but then seeing the community, seeing the reviews on it, and just everybody just saying how fantastic it is, I was not disappointed. I mean, from the get-go, I went in with open eyes just because, again, being new to Italian, horror movies, and like you guys mentioned earlier about the dubbing and getting used to that. But I was into it right from the beginning, knowing it was going to be in a theater. Especially being surprised too, because the version that I saw, it was not sure if there's an Italian version, but I saw mine in English, and it was just such an experience, man. It really lived up to everything that you guys recommended and more. I mean, the music
choice.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Yeah,
You know what I think you'll be into even more? Demons 2.
Yeah.
Probably not.
I will say though, I
fact,
do
I
love
think
the
that-
ending to that movie.
Yeah, I did not expect that. Even Jordan, when you mentioned it on the podcast, and I was like, well, there goes the ending for me. But then 2 days later, I completely forgot. So I was like, thank God.
I think
I actually
Demons should be
think-
your number 2, and then your number 1 should be Demons 2. We'll just go ahead and set that.
There we go. There we
By
go.
default.
I actually think Demons 2. I don't like Demons 2 when I watch it back to back with Demons, but I like Demons 2 if it's been months since I've seen the first Demons and I put it
That
on.
makes a lot of sense.
So,
No, I
but,
get
like,
that.
It was the next day for me.
Back to back, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, Jordan, right? The host-
No, it'd be Daniel. Daniel.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
so okay.
Damn it, guys. I'm sorry.
Daniel, Ken.
It's all
Steven.
messed up now.
Okay, yeah.
Was
Well,
Franco got up his sleeve?
Wait, Franco. I thought you said Frank. Okay, so it's pretty obscure. You have to be really smart to know about this movie, but it's a little film
I'm out.
called Suspiria.
Never heard of it.
No, it's pretty cool. I get to be the first person to talk about this one. Yeah, so it was the first Italian horror movie I saw. Really loved it. I've actually seen it quite a few times, and I almost thought I'd seen it like too many times to where it kind of lost its power with me. But then a couple of years ago, I got the chance to see it at a drive-in, and it was
Ooh.
awesome. It was on 35 millimeter print, like not the
Oh.
greatest looking print, but it's 35 millimeter, so it's cool. And it was so awesome, and it was like such a great experience. I was like, nope, this movie still hits after so many times. So yeah, I really love it. I actually really love the main actress, Jessica Harper, because she's also the lead in Phantom of the Paradise, Brian De Palma. And so like I'm in because I really like this main character, but then it's also got Daria Nicolodi in there too. Of course, some of those beautiful visuals and colors ever, much like Tenebrae, like some of the most visually gorgeous kills of all time. And it works for me as a story. Like I understand it's it's a little disjointed and weird, and it's not totally straightforward, but I get into it. And I just love it as a witch movie too, because I'm just a huge fan of any movies that have anything to do with witches and witchcraft and such. And I think it totally works and satisfies as that. And the woman that you see at the end is truly like one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my life. Like when she's laughing, it's terrifying. So love it.
You know what the
Suspiria's
scariest
great.
moment of that movie to me is when
What?
they're just talking in front of the curtain.
Yeah, it's
And-
so tense, right?
There's like an old
Yeah.
lady behind him breathing, or I mean, the witch is behind him.
I saw
That always
really
gets
good.
me.
there's a letterbox review for Suspiria that simply says, why is Tim Burton the production designer on this? I've never
Ken wrote
thought
that.
about that before, but then I rewatched it.
That
and I
is
was
that
like,
does sound like one of my
kinda,
reviews
yeah.
on
It kind of
Letterboxd.
works.
That's so funny.
Sometimes on Letterboxd, I'll just be like, I liked it, and then 4 stars.
I'm impressed that you write things on Letterboxd, dude. Because now that I talk about so many movies on my channel, I'm like, I don't want to write
Sometimes I
anything
do,
on
and sometimes I
Letterboxd.
don't. It's always completely random. I updated
Yeah.
it yesterday and had to add like 30 movies, and I wasn't writing much.
Oh shoot, man, that's
Uh,
too much.
Jordan, you're number 2.
My number 2, this one was tough for me. I mean, it was like, this was a toss up. So these my number 1 and number 2 can flip for me. But today I'm feeling this as my number 2. It's another Lucio Fulci film, but we've got Zombie.
Yeah.
I think this
Fulci
is
tonight.
Oh, dude, Fulci's king. What are you talking about? This is probably the best zombie movie ever made, in my opinion, easily. I just
It's not Hell the Living Dead.
No. For me, though, I will say the beginning is really slow, but once the zombie versus a shark happens, I'm like all in. I'm ready to go. I think you've got the epic splinter scene through the eye, unforgettable. And then what cracks me up is Chris mentioned this the other day, and I never really noticed it, but at the end when they're throwing the Molotov cocktails, they just play the same scene. They loop it with the fire. Nothing ever burns.
Yeah.
But I think, I love this. The zombie designs are phenomenal. Everything about this. And I love the story of them. It's kind of mean, but drugging up a shark and putting a shark trainer down in the middle of the bottom of the ocean. Hold your breath and take a bite out of the shark.
That's commitment.
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I could just see them sitting down, and Fulci's like, "Check the. Bear with me. I have this idea." So
how do you get someone on board for that? That's the crazy part. I'm like, man,
why not?
It's just another day for the office for them.
Yeah. My favorite tidbit about Zombie is that they purposely shot the opening in New York just so American audiences would watch the movie because they thought the movie was an American production. That's my favorite little tidbit of that movie.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Yeah.
I wish they showed the behind the scenes. I mean, like what you guys talk about with the shark and everything, like coming up with that idea. And these guys all just sitting in around a table, either drunk as hell, and they're like, you know what would be cool? But they're all talking Italian, and they're just like, a shark and a zombie. And they're like,
we're just watching a nature documentary, and he goes, I have an idea.
I think you're giving
Let's put a guy down there.
I think you're giving too much credit to the pre-production because I imagine them halfway through the shoot,
the last minute,
standing at the edge of a water bank, smoking a cigarette, man, nobody ever did this with sharks before. And
That's
then
true.
It happened,
Again, you're number 2.
Well, I might piss some people off, but it's another Giallo. The best one. Deep
I'm pissed
red.
off.
Deep mother effing red. This is a horror film. Come on. I mean, this inspired the Saw franchise, with the little doll thing riding out. I mean, it had to, right? I mean, right?
At first I was
James
like, wait,
Wan,
what?
100%.
But no, I'm with you.
No, this is the best. Whenever I would recommend Italian horror to anybody, it's always this movie. I think this is the most accessible. I think this is the one with the best performances. It's the most coherent story. I think the payoff at the end is the most satisfying for me, personally. I like the set pieces in it. And Dario Nicolodi's great. David Hemingway, and
that's maybe the best Daria Nicolodi ever. I think that's the best she's ever done.
I think they have good chemistry together.
The arm wrestling scene is the greatest.
Yeah, it's funny in parts, and I don't know. I think it's great. So Deep Red's my number 2.
Steven, you're number 2.
So I'm gonna have to roll with another Joe D'Amato film, but I got Absurd.
Yeah.
So I love Anthropophagus. That movie, I feel like, makes for a really good double feature with Absurd. Absurd, I feel like, is a little bit pacing-wise. It's a little bit quicker to get the story going. But it feels like, in a way, I don't know if you guys have seen this film, but in some elements seem kind of like they feel like they overlap a little bit with similarities with Halloween, for example. It's definitely gory. It's kind of, you just throw it on and it's basically like a nightmare's playing out. But yeah, this 4K was stunning. Really love this movie a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it shares a lot with Halloween, in the basic idea of doctor tries to find his psychotic patient who's out people. It's just a lot grosser. That's all.
Yeah, Josh, you're number 2.
Yeah, mine, gonna just try to pick things people haven't talked about yet. We're gonna go with one of the most annoying kid actors in a movie ever, in House by the Cemetery.
Yeah.
How dare you say that about Bob?
Whoa! All right,
Bob won the Oscar that year for that movie.
listen.
Oh,
I want
really?
you guys
Damn.
to know that for 3 episodes of Steve and I's podcast now, I have talked about how Daniel on his video talking about House by the Cemetery credited the voice actor as Elmo and never broke his character doing like he said it.
No, I said Mickey Mouse. I said Mickey Mouse.
That's what
It was Mickey
yeah.
Mouse.
Yeah.
I've talked about that multiple times.
I also claimed that somebody in that movie won an Oscar, and then I got somebody in the comments like, "Are you sure? Because I can't find anything about that." And I'm like, "Dude, are you kidding me?"
Oh, you do that too? Just wrong on purpose and you get more comments? Yeah, I feel you.
I mean,
do
if
it all
it's
the
something
time.
that ridiculous, I think it's obviously a joke.
That movie, by the way, is the only Italian horror movie that I hate with a passion.
Oh,
House by the
no
Cemetery.
way.
Really? What?
Whoa.
So I need to watch it again, obviously.
It,
grow to love
because
it.
it was the because it was the second one I ever seen. I think it's got the poster with the knife, like that thing.
Mhm.
That cover is so sick.
Oh, it looked cool.
I think the
Is it just
Dr.
Bob, Ken?
It was Bob, yeah.
I don't know. See, you're either charmed by Bob or you hate him, and I'm personally charmed by
hated
Bob.
No, he's
After you've
fucking
seen him
annoying.
enough times, he
I wanted to
grows
see the
on you.
house
Yeah.
by the cemetery fall on him. Instead.
Freud's
Bob.
scene in that movie, dude, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. I might like it now. That was pretty early on, I feel like. I think I watched it like
Dr.
2019,
Freudstein is
2020.
awesome, man.
Yep.
Dr.
He is
Freudstein is
Nightmare
So
fuel,
creepy.
100%.
so good. Great music again. I love anything that's got like a New England setting. City of the Living Dead's my favorite of the Gates of Hell, but House by the Cemetery, it's claustrophobic. It's got really cool blood. The color of the blood. The film just fucking rocks. So
Mhm.
I'll watch
We
it.
can talk
again.
about Bob.
You just made it sound great.
Check it
so
out.
I'm-
check it out. The knife
Josh
scene.
does.
Oh my god, dude. It's so good.
Well, I would normally say like, number 2 would be The Beyond. That's been talked about so many times. Seriously though, check this fucking 4K out. It is amazing. The release, spectacular.
Daniel's
but
over here getting pissed. Y'all keep pulling that box set.
That's all good. Spend that money if you want to.
Yeah.
I know
I
you want
really
that eyeball.
Yeah.
I got 2 eyeballs. That's all I need.
The movie that I want to talk about is it was by Chris, man. It's Spider Labyrinth, man.
Oh, good choice.
No one even said anything about it really too much, and this movie, holy crap, man! Like I really loved this movie, which I didn't think honestly I was kind of going to. But the ending, the last half of the film and the very end of it is very good, and it just kind of just takes you places. I guess I don't know, like you're not prepared for, but you just fucking go with the ride and the visuals. And oh shit, man, yeah, look at this. This is that's a great.
I
was
love
like,
that
oh my-
effect so much.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, seriously, man. Chris, thank you so much for recommending this movie. It is a fun Italian horror film. Bad kind of practicals, but they're very effective. The imagery towards the end of this film is very good, especially with the main villain at the end. That's why I was like, holy shit, like this is a good fucking movie. And I think I thanked you like right after seeing it too. I was like, wow, this is good.
Yeah. Shameless plug. So Steve and I, along with our friend Chuck, we host a podcast called Beyond the Blood, where we break down movies using their audio commentary as a guide. Spider Labyrinth was the first episode, and people were like, why are you starting your podcast with a movie nobody's ever heard of? And to this day, it's our second most listened to episode. And I still get messages from people that are still discovering it and buying it thanks to that episode. So yeah, I love that movie. And anybody who discovers it, either through myself or through the podcast, I'm so happy that you're just finding it. It's such a good movie.
Props
let
to
me
Severin
just-
for putting that out too.
Let me say one thing about Spider Labyrinth, because the one thing that held me back from really loving it, I think it is the worst lead performance of any movie I've ever seen that's otherwise well made. Because like everything in that movie is so well done, and it's got the worst actor of all time in the lead. And I'm like, how could you not find anyone else?
Franco, I think I could top you on that one, buddy. I have the
Bad acting in an Italian horror film?
No, it's another level. It is another level.
I gotta see this.
Yeah, you haven't seen it yet, Ken? Yeah, Spider Labyrinth.
Yeah, it's back here on the shelf. You know,
This is the
collecting
worst movie I've like. The acting in this movie, the lead did good, but this is by far one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
What?
Like,
But the thing about Spider Labyrinth is everything else is so well done. And then you've got this block of wood in the lead who can't.
Well, that doesn't work
whatsoever.
as a charm. That's not a charm.
I think it's because he's not trying. Like he's just kind of mumbling through it and
Are you
like
saying-
not emoting whatsoever.
There is multiple sources who have said that it's on purpose, like to fuel the story. There's a reason why he's acting that way, but
Okay.
yeah, that's pretty.
It's like George Lucas talking about Attack of the Clones. Well, it's 50s melodrama.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
George Lucas didn't know he was making an Italian sci-fi.
Shout out Planet CHH's reviews on Italian sci-fi action movies. Those are great.
Hell yeah.
Chris, you're number one.
So I want to give a honorable mention before my number one, real quick. I just want to shout out 1980s. Well, two names: Dr. Butcher, MD, or Zombie Holocaust.
That's a good movie,
dude. It's a great. It's a typical mad scientist on an island zombie movie, but it has some of the most gruesome zombie effects I've ever seen in my life, and it's batshit crazy, and nobody ever talks about it. So I just wanted to shout that out because my number one's been talked about, but my number one, we've already talked about it twice, so I won't go on too long, but it's one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's Cannibal Holocaust. One of my outside of just general top 3 lists, it's number one. I watched the Grindhouse releasing PETA version, which does exist for anybody listening. So they do cut out all of the animal stuff and just leave everything else. To me, I think Cannibal Holocaust still resonates politically just as much as it did then, where some of the worst people in the movie are the people that we depend on the most to get information, to get news. I think the found footage was very much ahead of its time. It didn't even try to start a movement with it. It just did it naturally through storytelling. And it has an ending that's more terrifying than most of the most shocking horror ending lists you'll come across. Cannibal Holocaust is just incredibly nauseating the entire experience. And I don't own the 4K. It's one of those movies that I don't think needed it, so I never bought it. I'm perfectly good with the Grindhouse Blu-ray. But I think it's a movie that kind of has to be experienced, whether it's like Daniel and you get halfway through and you cut out of it, or it's like me who's just absolutely fascinated. I think in some way you have to discover it and build your own opinion of it. But yeah, I tried to figure out a way to find a number one that wasn't anything talked about, and I just couldn't do it. So
I'm waiting until I'm on my deathbed and I'm gonna watch it.
What a way to go out. Good Lord.
It's gonna be my last film.
I'm gonna put
We'll miss you, Ken.
DVD
the
player
full cut. The full cut.
with Cannibal Holocaust on replay, and then whenever the battery dies is when it ends. All right.
Ken, you know you're just
Hell
going to
yeah.
watch Tommy Boy again.
Oh
You're
yeah,
some
man.
comfort.
Frank, when are you gonna do a 90s comedy stream?
Dude, I'd love it, man. I love 90s. Hell yeah, man. Freaking A. Daniel, you're number one.
You know, I would love to be cute and say, well, here's a movie people haven't talked about, but I just want to say my number one is City of the Living Dead, for sure.
That's a
Great
good
choice.
Yeah, it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite zombie movies of all time. It just has some of the most creepy atmosphere I've ever seen. And it's incredibly Lovecraft influenced. And, you know, as good as The Beyond is at making you feel like a gate of hell has truly been opened, I think City of the Living Dead is that much better at it. And it's got Christopher George, who is one of my favorite, like, exploitation movie actors of all time. I just love Christopher George. So, yeah, this movie rules. Barf up your guts for it. It's that good.
So iconic, man.
I don't-
Oh my god.
I don't
and
know
it just
if there-
stays with it.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a movie that just feels as dreadful as the entire runtime of City of the Living Dead.
Oh yeah, and the music has a lot to do with it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Jordan.
Well, my number one, and it's been talked about a lot, but The Beyond, it's my absolute favorite. I think right from the opening of this movie, the not necessarily just the soundtrack, but I don't know if it's the music, but the soundtrack. I don't know if it's a new track that they did for this, but right when they're in the hotel and the thunder hits and she's looking at the book, and one scene that I think is just crazy is right at the beginning, the way they kill that guy with the chains, pour the acid on him, that whole scene right there. And I love the whole theming throughout the movie. The setting of Louisiana, I think, is phenomenal, and that's one of the reasons why I love this movie. Is the
and
setting?
It was really shot there.
Film. Yeah. And but I mean, you've got so many iconic scenes. The spiders. I don't know. I forget the bridge that's there in Louisiana.
The Causeway Bridge.
The Causeway Bridge.
So
that
creepy.
whole scene. I mean, and the ending too. This has one of the best things. I know it's already been said, but them just kind of lost in hell, and it's kind of understood they're going to try to find their way out, but it just kind of ends. And it's one of those movies that it doesn't make a lot of sense. Not a lot of stuff that happens in this movie logically would make sense that you would put in a story, but I think that's what adds to the charm of the film, and that's why it's my number one. It's a near perfect movie in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the way things don't make sense works in its favor, because I think of the scene where they're in the hospital and they're going downstairs and then suddenly they're in the basement of the house again. Yeah. And it's just like it's a cosmic horror movie. It's like time and space has now changed.
Yeah. No, it's an excellent movie.
Ken, you're number one.
I'm gonna go with Zombie.
Hell yeah.
By Lucio Fulci. So this one rocked my socks off when I watched it for the first time. And like I said, I dove into Argento first, and it took me a while to get to Fulci. This is my first Fulci movie. And growing up, I was never super into zombie movies. I just always thought they were boring and just weren't scary. I like stuff that scared me. But this one just, I don't know. It was Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead was probably my favorite zombie movie before this, but this is now my favorite zombie movie. The score, like I said, music's 80% why I love these movies. I just think it's one of the best horror scores ever. Fabio Frizzi. And yeah, just some really gnarly kills and moments, and of course the zombie fighting the shark. But I love how big and apocalyptic it gets by the end, and then you see all the zombies going across the Brooklyn Bridge. It's one of the coolest shots ever. So yeah, I love this movie. That's my favorite Italian movie. One of my favorite horror movies, favorite zombie movie. So that's
I said The Beyond had one of the greatest endings, but I think Zombie might take it just with that radio broadcast.
Yeah.
Radio broadcast, how it ends like that. I think it's perfect.
Yeah. Love it.
Steven, you're number one.
All right. I got an honorable mention. So I feel like you haven't gone down the Italian horror pathway till you've hit Claudio Fragaso's Night Killer. And you guys watch this?
I started it fairly recently and was like, not today.
This goes off
Another
the
day.
rails. It's I would not put this in the upper echelon of Italian horror, but if you guys happen to stumble upon this, it's a pretty wild movie, and there's next to no plot. It's all over the place, but once you get into Claudio Fragasso and Bruno Mattei, that's when you're hitting the bottom of the barrel.
Otherwise known as Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Exactly. So but for real though, the one that I wanted to plug, since we don't have a 4K of this film, which I hope we do get in the near future, but I got to plug Stage Fright.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yep.
Bring
Hell
it up,
yeah.
man.
So
Yeah.
This one, I feel like there's just so much that I love about this film. Kind of like the perfect slasher Giallo hybrid. The premise is cool. Michele Soavi, one of the films that I feel like I wish it would get the 4K release that it deserves. I hope it finds a bigger audience, but yeah, I can't recommend this one enough. This is definitely up there for me for Italian horror films.
Nice.
Is that supposed to be any kind of remake of the Hitchcock one?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Hitchcock did a stage fright in 1950,
no.
I think.
Yeah, they're different. There's also a stage fright from a few years ago that's like a
I think I got that at the
slasher.
I think I got that at the Dollar Tree.
I got Dollar Tree too. I like it. I think it's fun.
Yeah,
I like the Hitchcock one though. That was pretty good.
Josh, you're number one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go honorable mention too and throw Umberto Lenzi's Eaten Alive in there.
Let's go.
This is one. This is one
Cannibals
that even
for the win.
Even for me, it gets a little intense where I'm like, man, this is just uncomfortable like the whole time. Great score, crazy gore, and the animal, it's just, yeah, it's a lot. But I'm going City of the Living Dead as well.
Nice.
I think it's the best. Gates of Hell. I'm wearing my Gates of Hell shorts from Paul Bearer Press right now. I think that the priest in that, the New England vibe, the way that the dude finding the coffin, man, like she's buried in there. There's so many scenes.
Good.
It's so nightmarish. It just keeps escalating and ramping up and ramping up and ramping up. And it's a bad dream. And I think it's, of the Fulci films, I think it's the one that tries to scare you the most. And I just fucking adore it, man. I think Gates of Hell is one of the best.
I love how so many of us picked Fulci movies for our number one.
Yeah. I was going to flirt with another one, Anthropophagus, something. I was like, nah, it's Fulci.
Yeah, it was close to. It was going to be Sergio Martino's Torso for me, but I just couldn't. I couldn't do.
I had Torso.
Had to be a Giallo, right, Chris?
Yeah.
Had to be.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew Daniel was gonna jump down here and kick my ass if I pulled Torso, so I didn't. I didn't want none of that energy tonight, so put it back in the stack. Torso's like a softcore porn though for like 45 minutes, and then it turns into this really tense home invasion slasher thriller.
You know, it's funny. The first time I saw Torso, I did feel like it was just a porn, and then the second time I watched it, I was like,
So I
"No,
watched
this
it
is
with
just a movie. This is
with
good."
my wife last October.
You watched it with her?
She goes, "What the fuck is this?" It's like, look, it's gonna turn into a horror film eventually.
He's gonna kill this girl in the mud. I promise.
Around for a little bit.
I swear, with like some of the Giallo films I've watched, when my wife walks in, she's like, "What the fuck are you watching?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. Just I'll see you around later."
Better.
Common response.
Yeah. Good girls are topless, just like whatever.
Yeah. That's
Why do you
literally
watch this?
Yeah, that's literally what just happened.
You're like, this is
a
my
couple days
special
ago.
movie room time. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
You look so guilty. You just
Oh shit, that's so good.
I'm hungry.
GC, was your number one Demons, right? I just want to see if
No, Demons too.
Well, I kind of got my order.
Demons 2, yeah. We assigned
GC
that
for
to
Demons
him.
2.
No, it's Demons 3, the church. What are you talking about?
So my first one, it's gonna be Cannibal Holocaust. Second is Demons, and then third it's gonna be The Beyond. But like Ken said, I have a suspicion now that I'm gonna end up wanting Demons 2 up there. So
Yeah, it's gonna be your number one when you get done.
Oh man,
GC just gets a Demons 2 tattoo after this.
Oh my goodness, man.
Oh.
My number one, and I literally watched it 2 days in a row. Like, I just absolutely love this movie. It's fun. It's gory. Has gory moments. The visuals are amazing. We already talked about it a couple times already, but it's Demons, man.
Hell yeah.
I
Nice.
absolutely love this movie without a doubt.
Oh, you
even though
that arrow box then, huh?
Oh yeah, man.
Easy, guys. Easy.
Even
you got
though
the card on there?
Yeah, well, it's the only freaking way because the damn slider, dude.
I
So
feel like the
just-
only person who has the hard box standard editions of those.
You got
Like,
your golden ticket. You got your golden ticket, Frank?
Knows that they even existed.
you want to go see
Yeah.
a movie, Frank?
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, man. There we go.
Those are
Yeah, so
sick.
these are hard box single releases of each one instead of that box.
Oh,
And-
okay. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, I found these at Monster Mania at Diabolic, and he was like, when I picked it up, Jesse was like, he's like, that's the only one I have of those, and the other one's out of print. And so he charged me an exuberant price for this. But
Yeah, I'll be
never-
honest. I hate this packaging.
Yeah,
I can only imagine
pulling
trying to pull it off the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you pull it off the shelf, it just falls apart
Mhm.
every time.
That's right. I did extra tape and whatnot for it. So, but anyway, guys, yeah, this movie just gets me,
Put
man.
duct tape on your box sets, bro?
No, man, no duct tape. It's a little packing tape. Anyway, hey, don't judge me.
Yeah. Let the man
Next,
live.
you watch, you rip that off, it's gonna pull the paper right off of
No,
it.
no, that's good,
It
man.
will. Don't ever pull it off.
But I did want to bring up really quick because I totally forgot. I want to piggyback again what Steven said. This movie in the beginning, I thought it was kind of fucking boring. I'm not gonna lie, but this movie gets better and better, and the kills to this movie I was not expecting it. I think I messaged you guys like right when it was happening. I was like, "What the fuck am I watching, man?"
Yep.
Like, yeah, the kills to this is very memorable. I absolutely loved it, and yeah, look at the cover. Guys.
The killer design, I love.
Yeah,
I agree.
Woo-hoo. So guys, that is it. Thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedules. I loved this discussion. I love this live stream, and
This was
apparently
so fun.
GC
Super
just
cool.
It was a
said
blast.
deuces. But yeah. But anyway, guys, again, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining. That's here in the chat. Before we go, guys, plug your channels, plug your Instagrams, or whatever the hell you want to plug. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Instagram as Bearded Film Guy. Also the host of, I already talked about it once, Beyond the Blood podcast. That's now available everywhere that you can find podcasts.
Holla, subscribe, or follow, right? Sub.
Some
Both.
are sub, some are follow. I don't know.
Along those lines.
Yeah.
Spotify, you hit follow. Yeah, you hit follow.
There
Okay,
you
yeah, okay, follow.
Daniel.
You can find me in Kiyoma and Django and the Fifth Chord, a Giallo I didn't bring up because this isn't a
Hard
Giallo
food,
stream. No, seriously. You can find me at the Cobwebs Channel. I just posted a video on 10 bloody slasher movie recommendations. I'm sure they all look like Disney Channel original movies to Josh, but you know, that's okay. You can go check them out.
I love those top tens, man. Your top tens are awesome, dude.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, dude.
Jordan.
Yeah. You can find me at the Movie Den over on YouTube and Instagram. Something cool this Friday. We're doing a live stream. It's my 1,000 subs. So we're doing a giveaway of this bad boy right here and some other fun stuff if you guys want to join. And then, I mean, that's really about it. Have something else kind of planned in the works. I'm not ready to talk about it fully, but just be on the lookout for some stuff coming soon. And yeah, subscribe.
There you go. Mid Waffler.
You can find me over at the Midlevel Media channel, just waffling around. Extra Belgian, fluffy.
Just like Jean-Claude Van Damme. I like it.
Yeah. No, I got some reviews coming this week. Pale Rider on 4K. I'm thinking about just turning my channel into a Clint Eastwood appreciation channel.
Hell fucking
That's
yeah.
it.
Because I've really been enjoying my time watching his movies. Kick Ass 4K Steelbook I'll be talking about soon. And yeah, I just review 4Ks and Blu-rays and talk about physical media. So there you go.
Dude, I'm so
And
fucking-
waffles.
And waffles. Hello.
Yeah.
Waffles.
Ego. Lego my ego. That's my new catchphrase at the end of every video.
Last week,
Please make that a reality. Please. And with that, guys, Lego my ego. Just do it once.
All right.
Yeah, no. Last week I had Outlaws by Josie Whale, right? Outlaw Josie.
How all
Whale?
about Josie Will?
Yeah,
Steelbook.
And-
Steelbook.
yeah, and it arrived damaged, so I didn't
my god.
see it.
Damn, where'd you get it from? Groove?
little Target.
Oh damn, Target.
But that was the first time I had a damaged package like in a year from them. So I've been pretty lucky. But I
go
ordered,
Amazon. Amazon's getting better.
No, hell no, man.
Yeah, they are. They're shipping their stuff
little
in boxes at least.
Yeah, I get all my stuff in boxes now from Amazon.
Yeah, me too.
But
I ordered 2 Scream Factory Blu-rays, and they came individual like in boxes, big boxes. I got Demon Knight in a big box, and then whatever that was hell else I ordered.
Oh.
At the same time, I'm like, what are y'all doing? Wasting
but
all this
anyway,
cardboard.
I rectified it by getting all those 3 steel books. Was it Josie Wales, Dirty Harry, and Pale Rider? So should be arriving here in a couple days. I'm very excited to check that out.
Pale Rider was good. That was a good one.
Steven.
You guys can find me at After Hours Video. I'm over on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. And then I'm one of the hosts on Beyond the Blood podcast as well. So feel free to subscribe.
There you go. Josh.
Yeah, I'm Josh over on Beyond the Gray Media on Instagram. I just got In the Skin that Frank recommended. So I got the box is stupid cool. I've seen the movie a long time ago, so I got to watch that again tonight, review that. I'm always doing some extreme gore stuff, but I did Humanoids from the Deep last night on YouTube, Beyond the Grave Media. Yeah.
Josh, watch the interview, man. Special feature with the director. The interview with the director is one of the best interviews I've ever seen. Amazing.
I'm on it, dude. I'm on
Dude, so fucking good. GC.
Well, you guys can find me on Instagram and YouTube at Face the Movies. And on there, I'm pretty much talking a little bit of everything. I've been a little slow with uploading for a while now, just because catching up between moving and all that good stuff. But I will be posting a lot more frequently. And I'm one of the hosts on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify for Friday Night Fright Night. So we're on season 2, episode 1. We're jumping on to episode 2 coming up. It's going to be Demon Knight. I'm sure you guys remember that from Tales from the Crypt. So it's going to be an exciting one. And yeah, I'm on Twitter as well, but not very frequently on there. I think you guys are the only ones that some of you guys just follow me on there. It's pretty much it. That's it. I think it's like I have like 4 people on Twitter. It's just us.
Oh, it's all good.
It's okay. It keeps it fun.
That's right. It's only people I need. Only fans I need, you guys.
And for me, just really quick, I just got some reviews. I did Jason Goes to Hell. Was it yesterday? I don't fucking know. And then I have Jason X tomorrow, and I have the Crazies limited. Was it Lionsgate limited release?
That looks super cool.
Good edition. Very nice.
I really enjoyed it, man. So anyway, guys. Thank you. Oh, go again.
I said I'm just patiently waiting on my fistful of dollars. Shit.
There you go.
Still stuck in Georgia.
I was about to say, what's the update?
And everybody's got theirs.
Oh,
yep.
That's what I get from ordering for Rare Waves.
Frank, I do want to say something really quick, man. I just wanted to take the time to say thank you to all of you guys for allowing me to participate. It has been not only such a pleasure, but an absolute masterclass in Italian horror and cinema, and I've learned so much tonight. I'm so excited, and not to be broke for the next few weeks and months after the orders that I'm gonna place, but just very excited to see these movies that you have all highly talked about and recommended. And one last thing is, Jordan, once again, brother, congrats on getting to the 1,000 subscribers, man.
Thank you,
looking
man.
forward to the live on Friday.
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to meet you, JC. And also, I have that light up Jason mask as well. I noticed that in your background. That's cool.
Dude, you got to put it up next time, man. We got to match.
Yeah, I'm always switching out stuff behind me, but yeah, I should put it back out. It's summertime, summer slashers.
Dude,
there you
Poor
go.
Frank. He's like, I'm just.
I know,
trying
guys.
We're just gonna keep talking.
Forever.
You can go, Frank.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks again, chat. Thank you for watching, and guys, have a great one.